Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim, and today is Waste Reduction Wednesday. Wasteful Wednesday to some of you. It's also a night you can talk about social issues. Maybe you're passionate about pro-life, passionate about pro-choice, passionate about killing baby fetuses. What a horrible thought. I don't want to really turn the night into a controversial night, although it has been in the past. I'd rather just kind of stick to the fact that we aren't getting rid of plastic waste. We're doing a pretty bad job of it. And under the two-party system, we've failed in many different ways. And promises of hope from the Democrats are falling short because they've had all these years to fix the problem and they haven't done anything. And now we're getting evidence that Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren were calling each other liars yesterday. Well, I've been calling Elizabeth Warren a liar for some time because she really did lie when she wrote she was Cherokee Indian on her affirmative action documents when she went to college. That was terrible. She got a free education and left a lot of people like myself with no education, victims of affirmative action. And we aren't getting any results from the Democrats on that. They haven't talked about rescinding affirmative action. They talk about increasing it. Now we've got other issues that are popping up. Nancy Pelosi is setting up the guy who will handle the impeachment hearing, and it's going to be Adam Schiff. He'll be the manager of their case. The Republicans refuse to admit that they're going to actually take witnesses. Mitch McConnell is still stonewalling everybody, and a lot of Republicans are asking for witnesses because, in a way, if they don't call witnesses, which is the requirement of the Constitution, they will be seen, and their own constituents will see them as being complete Donald Trump suck-ups. So the Republicans are kind of walking a fine line for re-election. There's about 5 or 6 or 7 key states that could easily swing to the Democrats, and they could win the Senate after the upcoming 2020 election. So in a way, the witnesses are important, and I think the people that were critically involved in the Ukrainian fiasco should speak up. Giuliani said he wants to speak up. That's great. John Bolton said he definitely wants to speak up. That's really good because, of course, John Bolton was kicked out because Trump didn't like him on a couple different levels. Well, one of the levels was that John Bolton said he didn't want to be part of the drug deal, the Ukrainian drug deal. He didn't want to be part of the things Giuliani was doing. He even warned the president of impeachable offenses. So Bolton is a very important key witness. If Republicans don't want to take his opinion, then they have a real problem on their hands. So we'll see how that plays out. Lev Parnas is meeting with... Yes, Lev Parnas is meeting with Rachel Maddow right now, live. Let's take a look dip into that conversation on MSNBC.
What was going on? He was aware of all of my movements. I wouldn't do anything without the consent of Rudy Giuliani or the president. I have no intent, I have no reason to speak to any of these officials. I mean, they have no reason to speak to me. Why would President Zelensky's inner circle or Minister Avakov or all these people or President Poroshenko meet with me? Who am I? Mm-hmm. They were told to meet with me, and that's the secret that they're trying to keep. I was on the ground doing their work.
Wow.
In terms of the president and what he has said about you, he said about you and Mr. Fruman, Igor Fruman, I don't know those gentlemen, I don't know about them, I don't know what they do. You're saying that was not a true statement from the president?
He lied. I mean, we're not friends. I mean, when you say friends, I mean, me and him didn't watch football games together. We didn't eat hot dogs. But he knew exactly who we were. He knew exactly who I was, especially because I interacted with him at a lot of events. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of one-on-one conversations with him at gatherings where they would have special, like these round tables where there would be only 6 people at a table. We've had several of those. And basically, I mean, I was with Rudy more than, 4 or 5 days out of the week. I mean, and I was in constant contact with him. So, and I was with Rudy when he would speak to the president plenty of times. I mean, so It's just ludicrous.
You've been with Mr. Giuliani when he was on the phone with the president?
Absolutely.
And how would you know that he was on the phone with the president? Would it be on speakerphone, or you could just hear it?
Several times it would be on speakerphone, where he would like start the conversation on speakerphone and then take it off and then go somewhere sideways, to talk to him. But a lot of times it would be on the golf course when we were golfing together. Especially, I remember during the Mueller times where Rudy, I remember, said something that he didn't appreciate or was taken out of context, and he was screaming at him so loud. That's why when I watched the impeachment and I saw the testimony about the Sutherland, that I could understand that you could hear President Trump talk to, like I heard him several times when he was with Rudy.
Because he speaks loudly on the phone.
Very loudly, yeah.
Okay, so Rachel Maddow is interviewing this guy, and I'm glad that Lev Parnas put a face on the whole thing, because in the picture it looked like a mugshot and he looked like a gangster. But now that we hear him, he's trying to vindicate himself and exonerate himself from the charges of election rigging. It's a noble thing for him to do, and all those 600 documents that are now part of the Senate, this Senate trial, will be admissible, and it's important that this guy gets his name out there. So I'm glad that he's interviewing Rachel Maddow, and I'm glad he's trying to set his record straight. Trump knew all along. Trump was aware of everything, Lev Parnas says. So that's an interesting little side note. Thank you very much. We'll be looking at that a little bit later as well. Yeah. CNN has been dealing with the Elizabeth Warren story. Let's listen to the statement that Elizabeth said to Bernie right at the end of the debate. This is very interesting. Let's play this for you.
With applause still ringing at the end of the Democratic debate in Iowa last night, the simmering feud between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders suddenly boiled over.
I think you called me a liar on national TV.
What?
I think you called me a liar on national TV.
Let's not do it right now. You want to have that discussion, we'll have that discussion. You called me, you told me. All right, let's not do it now.
Okay. Yeah, and this went on for a while, back and forth. I'm glad it's heating up, because Bernie, I grew to respect him a little bit more by calling her out. I'm amazed Biden didn't call her out as a liar. Yeah, and she really is a liar. Unfortunately, we've got problems roosting in the background of this entire thing, where she didn't even get a chance to be prosecuted. Donald Trump could have easily prosecuted her, and he didn't do that, which is very disturbing, because she did commit perjury by lying about her Cherokee ancestry. It's a sad thing that people in America don't really know enough about it. I've had people come in the room saying, she's an Indian. No, she actually had a DNA test. I was the one that kept talking about the DNA test. I was the one that kept saying, yeah, she should have a DNA test. Donald Trump brought it up 5 months after I started talking about it and said, oh, Pocahontas should have a DNA test. And when she had the DNA test, she had 0.05% Native American ancestry, which is not even statistically evident. Yeah, most of us Indo-Europeans, like myself, have more than that, probably. So I had a grandmother, 8th generations back, that was an Algonquin Indian. I didn't write on my affirmative action papers or any of my citizenship papers or anything like that I filled out to matriculate to college. I never said I was anything but Caucasian. Consequently, I received very few funds, and I wasn't admitted into 5 major universities I wanted to get into, and my scores were perfect. I was a straight A student with 4.0 average and a high 98 percentile in SATs, which is enough to get into any major university, you'd think. But I was cut. Harvard said no, Princeton said no, Yale said no, Stanford said no. So a lot of these people who did get in, like her, I don't even know what her high school records were, but she definitely lied about being a Cherokee Indian, and that's totally wrong. And I'm amazed that Donald Trump has not prosecuted her. Meanwhile, his useless attorney general, not only is he now threatening to give Michael Flynn 6 months in jail, William Barr is threatening to give Michael Flynn 6 months in jail, and Michael Flynn is saying that he doesn't want to even have a guilty, he doesn't even want to admit guilt at this point. He wants to retract his guilty plea, which is going to be interesting. But it turns out Michael Flynn is starting to talk, and William Barr is trying to throw him under the bus and give him 6 months in jail. Kind of strange considering William Barr wrote a 19-page letter in defense of Michael Flynn before we even knew he was working for Russia. Isn't that strange? And now William Barr is trying to punish him for some reason, like maybe he knows too much? Maybe Michael Flynn will talk, and this will keep him under control? Well, another striking news item came out a couple days ago. Attorney General Bill Barr recuses himself from the Epstein case, claiming a legal conflict without law officers saying that his father hired a pedophile to work at the elite private school when he was just 20 years old. That's right, Epstein got his first job with Donald Barr, and William Barr won't even admit his dad got him that job. And you know, Epstein didn't even have a college education when he started working at the Dalton Prep School teaching 15-year-old girls calculus. Huh. Yeah, he was actually not even a full graduate from college when he got that job. I've never been a communist, and I never will be. I assure you, I am not a left-winger. I'm a centrist. Thank you. Now, we've got very interesting information here. Now that he recused himself and he won't even be taking the case, it turns out that William Barr is kind of assisting the case and going away by recusing himself. Nobody else will take the case. Who's really following up on the Epstein case, where Epstein appeared to have completely got away with his life and is living comfortably somewhere in some remote location? We know that's happening. We've had numerous pictures of it in every show. We bring it to you. So I don't need to keep bringing up the Epstein footage, but I'm sure many of you want to see it. I'll show that later. But Epstein was seen in this picture being dead, and you can clearly see that it's not his same nose or his same ear. And the only person who ID'd him was his brother Mark, which seems very suspicious. Now, Michael Baden is pitching a story, the famous coroner, is pitching a story that Jeffrey Epstein may have been murdered. That's a sidetrack. That's called throwing another lie out there to try to convince people that what's really happening isn't happening. And we have another breaking piece of information which is equally disturbing. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have it right here. I'll pull it up elsewhere. It turns out that the missing footage of Jeffrey Epstein was lost by none other than James Comey's daughter, who's a prosecutor in the case. Yeah, James Comey's daughter lost the footage that would have showed us the guy being removed from the actual prison and taken away. Yeah, Comey's daughter. Isn't that amazing? Yep. Here is the link. Daughter of ex-FBI Director James Comey is the prosecutor on the case of pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and she's the one who lost the footage outside his cell due to a mix-up. Are you seeing a consistent pattern here? Comey rigging the election for Donald Trump, calling out Hillary Clinton as a criminal 11 days before the election, basically making people move toward Donald Trump even though they were probably going for Hillary. I don't like Hillary. I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like the two-party system. So let's get clear about that. I'm not defending Hillary here. But Comey pretty much was responsible for Donald Trump winning in 2016. He was the key element. And now his daughter is the key element in covering up a very interesting videotape that would have shown Jeffrey Epstein being taken out of the prison alive. Yeah. So I argue that Jeffrey Epstein's still alive, in play, as a Mossad agent trying to control politicians through sex tapes. Simple as that. I don't think we have to elaborate any farther. That's a very interesting allegation, though. Now, Sister Fight has another story about Jeffrey Epstein. Let's put that with that one. Yeah. I think that's a different... that's the earlier link that came in. Sister Fight. Yeah, but I'll talk about that right now. Yesterday, I brought up a very interesting phenomenon that's happening in West Virginia. Virginia is declaring a state of emergency after the armed militias threatened to storm the Capitol. Yeah. The governor said law enforcement had intercepted extremist rhetoric similar to the lead-up to Charlottesville days before pro-gun activists are holding a rally And it's very bizarre because West Virginia is now putting on their legislator, on the docket, they put a bill together to offer any state or any county in Virginia a chance to become part of West Virginia. This is the first time a state has offered a neighboring state a chance to take counties away. Because Virginia, the liberal leaders in Virginia, a 51% majority, are pushing for gun control, and there's a lot of people in Virginia that are pissed off, like the sheriff of Culpeper, about 80 miles west of Washington, D.C. There's a sheriff out there who's willing to deputize anybody in the county so that they can bear an arm or bear a weapon without search and seizure by the Virginia state legislature, trying to take away their gun rights or Second Amendment rights. So, again, no leadership by Donald Trump in this matter. And now both states are kind of in a state of emergency. It's happening. The governor said law enforcement had intercepted extremist rhetoric. Well, as everyone's getting more and more concerned about the liberals running Virginia and possibly setting up Checkpoint Charlies to repossess weapons, people are getting very disturbed. Now, again, no leadership by Donald Trump on this issue. He's sided with Mitch McConnell and his red flag laws, which is very disturbing to a lot of pro-gun people. So a lot of that's going to be materializing into something very disturbing, civil crisis erupting in the Virginias without Donald Trump leading on the issue. Kind of amazing. Sad day for The Rock. His father, Rocky Johnson, has passed away. Right, we played a picture of Rocky earlier. Rocky was a wrestling guy. What an amazing guy, a wrestler who had tremendous abilities. He passed away. The father of Dwayne The Rock has died at age 75. But he had a miraculous career, and everybody thought the guy was an amazing guy. He had moves in wrestling that I've never seen anybody do. But the Canadian Rocky Johnson, father of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, has passed away. And he started as a boxer, and he went on to bodybuilding, and then obviously directly into wrestling. So his life will be missed by his son. Very sad day for The Rock. I'm assuming The Rock is not running for president because there was talk about him running about 3 years ago, and no one actually did it. No one actually ran with him. I'm going to bring you more of that CNN debate real quick, or that end of the debate, and you'll hear some CNN people, because I know you Republicans don't watch CNN. This is a chance to watch it for a second. I'll be right back.
I don't want to get in the middle of it. I just want to say hi, Bernie.
Yeah, good. Okay.
She walked away without a handshake after intentionally trying to de-escalate the fight earlier in the debate.
Bernie is my friend, and I'm not here to try to fight with Bernie.
But Warren wanted to make a point that a woman can win the presidency. It was one of the most memorable lines of the night.
Look at the men on this stage. Collectively, they have lost 10 elections. The only people on this stage who have won every single election that they've been in are the women.
They were sparring over a comment Warren says Sanders made during a private meeting in 2018 that a woman couldn't win the White House. Sanders strongly denied ever making such an assertion.
As a matter of fact, I didn't say it. And I don't want to waste a whole lot of time on this because this is what Donald Trump and maybe some of the media want. Anybody knows me, knows that it's incomprehensible that I would think that a woman could not be president of the United States.
In the moment, Warren disagreed, but waited more than an hour later until after the debate to accuse Sanders of calling her a liar.
Now, we reached out to the campaigns all day long and again tonight once we went through this audio, Anderson, and neither campaign wanted to give a comment on this. We caught up with Senator Sanders on Capitol Hill today. He did not want to talk about this at all. One thing is clear. Both sides were trying to de-escalate this feud on the debate stage, but it clearly did not work. Now, as it's escalated once again, I'm told that they did not speak today, but they will be side by side in close proximity tomorrow at that Senate impeachment trial, Anderson.
And just explain how the audio, how we got this audio now.
Well, Anderson, we saw it play out, but we couldn't hear it play out. But my colleagues here at CNN spent the day looking through backup audio. It was not recorded from the primary audio system. It was a backup, separate system, and they found it late today. We listened to it. We matched it with the video. So that's how we were able to reveal this moment. So certainly interesting. 19 days before the Iowa caucuses, they are going after some of the same voters here, the progressive voters. We will see how this feud continues.
Yeah,
With applause still ringing at the end.
neither one is worthy of my discussion. Yeah. Unfortunately, she and he are both relatively liars. He's notorious for actually pretending like he's poor and then claiming he's poor, and then we find out he's in the 1%. Bernie is. Okay, let's take a look at those links again. A Bernie Sanders field organizer caught on tape revealing plans to mass execute liberals and throw American citizens into gulags run by left-wing communists or burn down cities if Trump wins. That's really shocking. National News may or may not have the real scoop here, but this is Veritas. They exposed the left wing. Kyle Jurek, field organization of Sanders campaign. There's a reason Joseph Stalin had gulags, right? And actually gulags were a lot better than what the CIA has told us. Wow. National News has the story from Project Veritas striking again. James O'Keefe's organization has released another bombshell undercover video featuring a Bernie Sanders campaign field organization leader planning mass executions of liberals and conservatives. This is just too hard to believe. But hey, if it's out there, the liberal Antifa forces will exploit anything. Yeah, and then of course that story, Virginia starting their thing. This is a story I led with in the pre-show. Yeah, you gave me the link yesterday. Yes, you did. And then this other story. Okay, let's get to this one right now. This is hard to believe, but there's a new book called A Stable Genius being written, or it was written. And in it, they claim that Trump complained that the Constitution is too hard to read. Yeah, this is beyond belief that our president doesn't know how to read, but I've been telling you people that he doesn't know how to read for some time. Zeno, I'll get to that question a little bit later. The Ashkenazis that we're dealing with, the Zionist Ashkenazis, they live here just like we do. The question is, do we want them to have total control over our government? And the answer is no. That's where we come in, building a third party, trying to stop their control over the two-party system. Okay, and then that story's coming in. Let's just read this for a second. Early in his presidency, Trump agreed to participate in an HBO documentary that featured judges and lawmakers, as well as all the living presidents, reading aloud from the Constitution. But Trump struggles. Trump struggles and stumbles over the text, blaming others in the room for his mistakes and griping, "It's like a foreign language." Yeah, compare that to his felonies and impeachable offenses that he's engaged in, and you're beginning to realize that his reading level that's required to understand the Constitution might not seem like much. Yeah. His comments reveal that he had never read the Constitution and doesn't know what's in it and doesn't care to understand the system of government that he is a central figure in. Okay, now we go to the Nancy Pelosi delivering the articles of impeachment. Here we go. Breaking.
He's clearly giving the pens that we use in this signing ceremony to the chairman of the relevant committees, as well as the House managers who will be walking over to the Senate for this delivery.
We are used to seeing signing ceremonies, handing out pens at moments of celebration, when a president is signing legislation, when even sometimes, in a rare occasion, but it has happened, when the House sends over a landmark piece of legislation. It was unusual to see that kind of ceremony and making handing out the pens and smiling for a picture in this kind of situation where the House Speaker has bent over backwards to say publicly and privately, this is somber, this is not a time for a celebration. Understandable, this is history, and the people who are involved want to mark the moment, but I didn't expect to see that.
I thought that.
Well, I think souvenir pens are kind of honorable. I mean, can you imagine what those would be worth someday in glass? Nancy and her son Paul would love to sell them to Ukraine, make some extra cash. Paul works for Ukraine gas company too, just like Hunter Biden and all the others. This is pretty funny. Just came in. This is a joke, of course, but breaking news. Epstein Island sold to wealthy Middle Eastern businessman Hadid Nakil Musaf. Yes. Breaking news. It goes with the theme that Jeffrey Epstein's still alive. He just changed his name to Nakil Musaf. That's a joke. Yeah. Okay. We're on to the next one. But the true ones are really interesting too. This one came in from Scissor Fight. Jeffrey Epstein is accused of sex trafficking hundreds of girls as young as 11 in a new lawsuit. Well, I wish the government would admit Jeffrey Epstein's still alive, because that would make things easier. We could go pursue him and arrest him again, but they won't do that. Even though he was seen alive 20 days after he died, they're not going after him, because remember what Acosta said, that Epstein is intelligence. He's in the intelligence industry. And we all know Epstein has ties to Mossad, so it's like a common household fact now. So of course he's protected, and of course he's still molesting little girls as young as 11. According to this story, yeah, Epstein had girls as young as 11 at Little St. James Island, where he kept a computerized database aimed at trafficking the girls' availability and movements, according to the lawsuit. It accuses the multimillionaire of sex trafficking young women from 2001 to 2018. This has been filed with the Virgin Islands' Denise George, Attorney General, adds to the list of accusations against him. I don't think he died. I think he needs to be re-prosecuted. And we found out last week that this guy was working on building another complex on another island right near there, Big St. James Island. And he spent $18 million on that property before he was arrested. I'm sure he's there now working on his underground bunker. That's supposed to be funny. His laptop is hanging in the cell. That's not funny. I mean, we don't have any evidence. And what I just said earlier about James Comey's daughter being the one to lose the video evidence of Jeffrey Epstein, a hallway near his room where he would have been taken out alive. It's a VHS tape? Okay. Tragic footage of him hanging in the cell. I guess that's funny to you. To us, we want to protect the children. We don't want other 11-year-old girls or 12 or 13-year-old girls to be used in sex play by politicians, videotaped, and then that blackmailed against the politician. We don't need that. We don't need pedophiles for politicians either. We also would like to know what Bill Gates was doing at Epstein Island all the many times that he went out there. She signed with every pen. Well, they handed him out. They wanted to make this a memorable moment. Is that okay, Channing? And thank you. I don't just ignore you on Periscope. The Constitution isn't hard. Treat others how you want to be treated. Exactly. Read the Constitution. But yeah, that's not that funny. I'm sorry. You know what it is funny, though? The ABC story of how they told Batman actor Burt Ward to take pills to shrink his penis. Yeah, this is a true story, too. Yeah, you know Batman and Robin? Holy circumcision, Batman! That's right, Robin. Men have circumcisions. But no, really, this guy was told that he had too much going downstairs. Page 6 has the story. And he was told to take pills to shrink it. For baby boomers and classic TV fans, the name Burt Ward is instantly recognizable as the loyal and extremely excitable Robin on the campy Batman series. The caped Crusaders' costumes were bright and tight-fitting, to say the least. So snug that Ward incurred the wrath of the Catholic League of Decency. They thought that Robin had a very large bulge for television. Yeah. With Adam, they put Turkish towels in his undershorts. Oh, really? Just to make Adam look bigger. The problem grew so tumescent that the studio had Ward see a doctor who prescribed medication to shrink me up. Thankfully, Ward quit taking the pills almost immediately. I took them for 3 days, and then I decided that they can probably keep me from having children. He said, I stopped doing that. I just used my cape to cover it. Well, isn't that funny? See, that's funny. And that's a true story that's funny, okay? You can laugh now. Yeah, cold shower, duct tape, and one of those cups that you wear down there. You know, and some of our greatest world leaders have had to, disguise their body part in public. And one of those people that never did it, and you know where I'm going with this, right? One of those people that never did it was our former First Lady, Michelle Obama. As you can see in this Ellen DeGeneres clip of her dancing, him dancing with Ellen DeGeneres, you can see in the center pan that something's going on there. This would have been a good time for Michelle or Michael LaVaughn Robinson Obama to wear a cup. But no, he forgot the cup. Part of his act of being First Lady, he forgot the cup, and there it is for all to see. Uh-oh, timing is a little off there. Hang on. We now go to our normal, regular broadcast. I just wanted everyone to see that, just because it's out there, and it's not been photoshopped. Now, I introduced a very nice woman who would never, ever play that for you to see. And I had to do it because it's one of those things we do in our show to reveal the truth about Michelle Obama. We now have Sarah. She's going to give me a break in the show while I fix dinner. But Morpheus, what do you have? Yeah, I'm going to pass on that Christian teen story. Thank you, though. All right. I think we're covered all the territory, and Sarah's going to talk about whatever she wants. And then we did expose what Warren said to Bernie at the debate yesterday. She said, I think you called me a liar on national TV. And Bernie did, really, but for good reason. I mean, Bernie's finally said it. Biden should have said it. Everyone should say it. She is a liar. I'm saying it. She lied about being Cherokee Indian to get her a free education. Democrats have new evidence in the impeachment case, but do Republicans want to hear it? We'll find out. Many Republicans seeking re-election know that if they don't ask witnesses in the trial period, they'll look to their constituents like they didn't even care. It could be a big turning point for some Republicans who are facing skittish elections right now. This is from Insane Canadian. We heard about the alleged nuclear radiation drip out there in Ontario. Now you're saying that 7,500 dead fish in the shores of Lake Ontario occurred near the Pickering nuclear power plant. 7,500 dead fish. And they claim there was no nuclear leak after a story was sent out in the Canadian news. Then they claimed it wasn't real. Now we're seeing 7,500 dead fish show up on the shores of Lake Ontario. Thank you, Insane Canadian, for telling us that. Sarah's going to open up our YouTube show. We're rolling out there right now, and we will see where we go from there. Remember to always check the mics. I have to tell myself this, but always check the mics, turn them off if you open up any videos. Because we sometimes have people trolling our show. That. You are good at it. I'm the one who's been making mistakes toward the end of the show. I get tired, and I'll click any link, and then all of a sudden it's somebody attacking our show with some bad words. Thank you, Sarah.
I'm pretty good about that, but thanks for the reminder. The fish died because of rising water temperatures. Here the temperatures are falling. Well, they're starting to rise now. The snow is starting to melt slowly. We've had snow for the last few days. Finally starting to melt, but still going to be a little icy in the morning. But yeah. Some fear the Virginia gun confiscation may lead to a civil war in that state. What do we think? Well, West Virginia has said that any county, or they're in the process, I guess, of passing a law that any county in Virginia that wants to join West Virginia that doesn't like their gun laws, they could join that. But I guess that would require the county to vote. There is a county in West Virginia, I believe it's Culpeper, where the sheriff of Culpeper said anyone wanting to keep their guns could come in and he would automatically deputize them, so then they have a right to, so then they're legally able to keep their guns. We got up to 73 degrees where you are today. Lucky it got up to 38 where I am today. Yeah, maybe something like that, Medverell. I don't know. Maybe people decided to go out, even though it's like Wednesday, decided to leave in the middle of the week. I don't really know. I don't know where everybody is. How was my day? My day was awesome because I had a snow day, so I just I cut up this morning. I decided I want to take this time to like figure out how I'm going to go about teaching small groups starting next week, small reading groups, and look at what I will do if I have time to teach small math groups. I hope I do. And yeah, so that's what I did this morning. And then I have some other paperwork. I caught up on all my grading, at least the grading that I had at home or had access to at home, like the online grades, because there's some grades I didn't do because I was like, darn, I left that stack of math quizzes back at school. But maybe I'll go in. It's a 2-hour late start. Maybe I'll just go in 1 hour late rather than the 2-hour late, so I can use that time to grade the papers. Oh, and it's Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday or weekend this weekend. What am I doing for that day? Nothing. I don't know. I don't have any plans. School's going to be back in session because of our recent snow day. No, I'm just kidding. We do have some snow day time scheduled into our schedule, so I'm sure we'll be going into June. But yeah, anyway. I agree with you, Real Man's Pilot. David has a chance because the Democratic nominees are pretty lame. Very true. Okay, 2 people watching over at YouTube. Thank you for watching. I'm in here now. Hello, Ron. And Mr. Frosty. Welcome. What, you own a firearm? What does that mean for you passing through a gun stealing state? I don't know. That's a good question. Can you let me find out and let me know too? Because I own a firearm as well. Not that I plan on going back to the East Coast, because I found out this summer that I am allergic to mosquitoes. Fortunately, it doesn't stop my heart, but it is a pretty darn bad allergy. I hate mosquitoes. So I'm going to just stay where I'm at now rather than go to a place where they have mosquitoes. Have any new coffee shops opened up in our area? We have a local coffee shop called Would Be Coffee that has opened up not just in our area, but they've actually spread out to the other local areas, like we are live on Whidbey Island, but they actually have a Whidbey coffee that's off the island. Pretty funny. We have a pretty cool coffee company that does their own roasting on our island called Honeymoon Bay Coffee. And of course we have a couple of Starbucks, and there's other coffee shops around here. Speaking of coffee or coffee shops, David and I were talking, one of the things I spent today doing, David and I were talking early this morning about money and saving money and how to save money. Yeah, and anyway, so we agreed that first thing that you should do to save money is, one, make your own coffee. And so every time you make your own coffee, you can put like $3 to $5 aside in a little envelope for yourself. That's savings. Of course, if you have credit card debt, pay that off with those little savings from the coffee all the time. 2, take your own lunch to work or school or whatever you're doing. Eat at home. Less eating out, that's going to save you a lot of money. And again, like every time you do that, when you're thinking about going to eat out but you eat at home instead, put that money, $10, $15, $20 that you would have spent on eating out, put that in a little envelope. It'll add up, and because it's like you don't realize that you're saving that until you don't spend it. 3, the other one is when you go to buy an item. I got this idea from my sister. She says she goes to visit items in the store. So, pick it up, walk around the store with it, hold it, imagine what it would be like to own that item, but then go put it back on the shelf and go visit that item 3 or 4 times before you actually buy it. If you find yourself always visiting the item, then it would bring you joy. But if you go home and you forget about it, it's not really something you need. It's kind of like I was telling David about a beautiful rose or a flower. My sister said she got it from my mom, who they couldn't pick a flower at somebody's house. Or whatever. My sister was on a walk with my mom, and my sister's like, "Can we take this flower home?" And my mom said, "No, but we'll come visit it tomorrow. Say goodbye to the flower." And they went on and they came back and visited the flower. All right, and then the next idea, 4th is never go into debt. 5th, start saving $1,000. So that's a good idea. When you get paid, you deposit $3,000 in the bank and use the other $1,000 to spoil yourself. You try to save as much as you can. Yeah, do look into a Roth IRA if you're able to put aside $3,000 in the bank. Definitely look into either a Roth or a traditional IRA. IRA stands for individual retirement accounts, and also other retirement accounts if you can. I was telling my friends I don't have access to a 401k because I'm a teacher, but I have access to another type of retirement account. I actually have access to 2 different retirement accounts because I'm a teacher. You have a 401k through your job. See if you can boost up your 401k contributions. Make sure that you're contributing the maximum that you can contribute to your 401k. I think it's like $19,000 a year, so it's like $1,625 a month. So, and if you can save on top of that, that's great. And then the other thing I would say, if you're sitting on top of that and you're sitting pretty, make sure your car is paid off, your house is paid off. Drive a used car until you can afford a new one. And then if you're all with that, well, actually you should be doing this all along. All the while you're building these funds, give 10% to your community. It does not have to be a church that you give to. It can be a neighbor. It can be anyone. There's so much need in the world because not many people know how to save. And so give 10%. If you have no money, give 10% of your time to a service. To ladies, so yes, federal law says you can carry a weapon in a gun stealing state as long as it's unloaded, locked away, and kept away from the ammunition. Okay, good to know. Oh, you donate through your job as well? That's fantastic, 462. And how do you feel about your job? Do you love your job? Because I love my job. It's so great. You're welcome for the info, Ron. I know, when you have a job, your life sounds like my life, 462. It's just so much to be thankful for. You've got a good job, you're stocking away money. You just sound like it's going really well. Well, Bedforall says give it to a barmaid. It's often a good investment. Yeah, maybe she'll pour your drinks a little stronger or whatever. But yeah, I mean, they end up spending money too. And all the money you put into the economy. I'm not a big proponent of just buying things and spoiling myself with things, because I don't. Experiences maybe like a massage or something like that. Some professional masseuse take flexible spending accounts. That's another way you can put aside money to spend on your health care that's pre-tax, so you don't end up having to pay taxes on it. Yeah. Yes, you also try to stay single because, with all due respect, most women are all about spending. I'm not, because I believe as a woman, and I think that this should be like the whole move for feminism as well. I mean, if I want something, I feel like I need to go work for it. If I want to go out to dinner or anything, I feel like I need to work for it. But yes, not being in a relationship and not having children, you can save a lot more money. That's Eric. My job is not being David's soulmate. That's just one of the purposes in life. Yes, I'm a rare type of female. David is a lucky man. True. Eric, I am talking to the chatters over at iVlog.tv. There's actually a guest over there, 462, that I was talking to about how he likes his job and everything. And Tiddly D's over there saying, apparently, even though the Virginia governor is passing this gun law, the counties have voted in resolution to him. And they say many women have lost. Oh, and 564 says many women have lost the plot and their place in society. I believe there's more opportunity for women and their place in society. I don't think they have necessarily lost their plot or their plight or place in society. I think the opportunities for women are just expanding exponentially. Probably, Eric. I don't know about that. I just don't like him. Yeah, actually, Eric, he claims that he did not say last night. Bernie claims that, any woman can be a president or serve in any office, so that's good. There's a lot of reasons you should bother to save money, because maybe AOC is not correct. I think men can cook and clean and take care of babies if that's what they want to do. And I think that women could, I think that it takes a village to raise a child, so it shouldn't just be men or just women doing household duties. Yeah, I think I'm going to warn you, G. Gordon Liddy, and then purge you and then mute you. So if you get purged, know that you're going to start heading down that road. Well, everybody learns different things, Pirate. I agree. When two people work together like a well-oiled machine, it does make life really easy. And I think that's one thing about David and I. We usually work together really well. I mean, David obviously has a different personality than I do, and he's like, for instance, my friend, a friend of mine, I hadn't talked to her in almost a year, maybe a little bit longer, and I would say that anyway, she was talking about her relationship and how they communicate, like it takes work, but they communicate really well. And I was telling her how David is such a great communicator, and like, you know, I always know what David's thinking. Inflating their lips? What? You remember when we worked together and streamed during the power outage at the cafe? You were all able to view and chat with us, really put in the effort, and you appreciate that. And David probably puts more effort into the show than I do, but I do appreciate the show. I don't believe women should just be in the kitchen 564. I think different people. I've been watching Hell's Kitchen lately, and you know, there are men that like to cook. There are women that like to cook. It's not just a job based on gender or sex. Yes, thank you, Ron. Well, we were there and we had a power outage and we were still broadcasting. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so I recently read, well, over the summer, I listened to Melinda Gates' book called Lift, and I really, I really appreciated her statement. I think I'm just gonna purge. I would say parents should raise their children. They should work together to see how to raise their children. I agree with you, Tiddly D. There should not be a disarming of the population at all. There's a reason for the Second Amendment, and it's really to allow the populace to protect themselves against the government.
take over. Thank you very much. You're free to enjoy your dinner. I made you pumpkin soup.
Oh, thank you.
And
Looking forward to that.
chicken and wontons and broccoli.
Thank you so much.
Chicken drizzled with cheddar over it.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
enjoy. Yeah, thank you. Sarah has been very kind to help out during this show as we continue this endless show. And it's asking a lot for her to continue because she obviously has other things she can be doing with her time. Yet the show has to go on, right? I'm not going to give up our efforts because we're being censored. That's not a reason to stop doing what we do. You believe that if there was a civil war right now, the conservatives would win because they're the most heavily armed, hardworking among the population? I don't even want to ponder that thought. I think we can avert a civil war. I really do. I think the Democrats have gone too far off to the left, pushing gun control upon the American people. And Donald Trump is not taking a lead in areas like Virginia and West Virginia right now, where he should be making statements, at the very least. In no way should we have our Second Amendment destroyed by the Democrats. They only have, what, a 51% majority in Virginia, and now they want to have certain areas blocked off? It's crazy. They want to seize weapons on highways, county roads. It's nuts. They would only trigger a problem in that area. And I just reported that West Virginia has got something on their docket to offer Virginia counties asylum with West Virginia, basically bringing in counties of Virginia into the West Virginia fold so that they don't have to lose their weapons.
Can we save you some of the soup?
Do whatever you want. Help yourself. Finish it. I had some already. Yeah, that's good soup. I pulled it out of the freezer today and I defrosted it for like 22 minutes or 30 minutes or something. I don't know. We need to wear socks around here. We use zone heating, so I've got the temperature in here is 57 degrees right now. Outside it's 35. But in our master bedroom where we spend a lot of our time, it's 68. So it's pretty decent. Yeah, weapons can't stop the division we have in our country. The only way we can stop the division we have in our country is to set up boundaries where we can discuss things normally. Now, I've decided to not ever discuss gun control. It's off the table. And those are my words, not Trump's. Trump used my wording off the table recently when he talked about keeping background checks off the table. Yeah, background checks off the table. So who's slandering you right now, Eric? What's the problem? Is somebody really bothering you? Yeah, G. Gordon Liddy, you've been really a problem here. I'm going to mute you for a while because you're pissing off some of my more liberal people in the show. Yeah. No, I don't think breaking the country is the way to do it. I think finding a pathway in the center of the political spectrum is the way to do it. Now, I was raised pretty much a Democrat. My father was a Democrat, but I never liked the Democratic Party's extreme liberalness, the communist socialist end of it. I kind of moved toward the blue dog Democrats, which were fiscal conservatives on the right wing of the Democratic Party, and then I realized the whole Democratic Party is completely corrupt in my eyes. You were raised by King Kong? So I decided to become a centrist in 2007. We decided, after attending one of the Democratic committee meetings in our area, when they told me to shut up, and then they said, no one will ever vote for you. And I was like, okay, that's my calling. I'm starting the centrist movement. That's when we started America's Third Party in 2008. And I've been doing that for some time. Are you attacking J-Mix now? Okay. So I started this in realization the Democrats were getting more liberal, and people like Barack Obama, the deceptive fraud that he is, pretending to be a straight man from a Christian church when he was a Muslim gay man married to a transgender. I knew things had to change. I knew that I couldn't fit into that mold, and the Democrats have become exactly the problem. I mean, they are too far to the left. They are embracing transgenderism left and right, like they want everyone to be a transgender. And I could not stand that liberal communist bend that they have, that everyone should just get free everything. But I understand I do want to offer free things. I do. We didn't have the plan to give a universal basic income of $500 a month back in 2008 when I started.
Hi, good morning. As you can see, I'm still wearing the shirt I wore last night and yesterday at Blog TV.
So I was doing this back in 2008, and here I am 11 years later doing it with the full intent of now giving more people a little hand up, basically. I felt that giving big military industrial complex leaders all the money wasn't funding jobs. And that's, in 2012, we wrote Hybrid Capitalism, our book, and then we offered the amazing $500 a month plan this past couple of years. So it looks good. I still believe that this can be managed, whereas Andrew Yang doubled the amount and offered $1,000 a month, and he wants to give it to everybody, including illegal aliens. This is dialed in to be perfect for our society as we get older. As people get older, 65% of our population will be 65 or over by 2030. So we're going to see more people drawing on Social Security and disability right around that time. In the meantime, if you're not on Social Security and not on disability right now, you could, under this plan, get $500 a month to survive. This brings in a tremendous amount of money into our economy. Now, this will cost us. I anticipate about a $1 trillion cost to the government, but we're printing up money right now anyways to finance the military-industrial complex. Why wouldn't we finance the American people? That's my pitch to the American people. And there's a nice thing about this, is it has a multiplier effect. You spend money anywhere in town, that leads to people who produce products or services that definitely take home money, and they spend the money, and they spend the money, and they spend the money. It goes on and on through the whole food chain of consumerism. And unlike money going into the hands of rich bankers, this has a multiplier effect that will resound through the entire economy and begin to pick up the retail sector, which is really what's lagging right now. The Dow Jones just got past 29,000 on news that Donald Trump has signed the initial trade talks with China. So today was an up day on the Dow. 29,030 was the final resting place. So I'm not saying the economy is doing poorly in so far as the Dow, but it's not an indicator of the real economy. They say that unemployment is down to 3.5%. There's 97 million people out of 215 million people potentially working. Those 97 million people don't want to work. And that's a 45% unemployment. That's not 3.5. That's 45, not 3.5. Big difference in numbers. So the fake statistics and the Dow Jones, which clearly has been pumped up by the Republicans, I discovered that Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, put in $1.5 trillion into the market recently. That came as a shock to me. So no wonder the Dow looks good and the fake unemployment stats look good. But they don't have what this has. This has the multiplier effect, which will resound in the economy and get people lots of jobs. The goal is to give people money so they'll pay other people to do things. Or wherever that money goes, it certainly will add to the flow of the retail sector, which I think is really important because we have not revived our retail sector. Obama didn't do it, and Trump didn't do it. Okay, let's check out the room. You think I don't like Trump for some reason? Yeah, I can tell you that I don't have a personal feeling toward him at all. I don't like the fact that he lied to us about his Russian oligarch friends. He said he wasn't close to Putin, and he was. At this time, he said he wasn't close to Putin, and he was actually cutting a $50 million penthouse suite for Putin at the Moscow Tower, a location that his son was trying to broker. At this very same time, he said he didn't have any relationship with Putin. He was brokering a deal with him. So that's a lie right there. I don't like liars. Some of you may be liars. I may not like you. I don't think it's... Trump wears a wig. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we just got that link just a second ago. I played it on the screen, I Love Fries. You're not allowed to post links again. Yeah, that's not cool. So I'm going to mute you for that. Yeah, I posted that earlier. I put it on the screen, in fact. Yeah, J-Mix says $500 a month for everybody will go through a monthly drug fest or drug test. Well, I'm legalizing marijuana. So the $500 a month will infuse into our country's budget rather quickly. Yeah, and there's money in our budget currently to be reapportioned toward this. I'll be taking about $15 billion out of the NASA program, leaving about $5 billion. NASA should earn money back from satellites. It shouldn't just throw money into an endless photography studio. Big difference. So we're going to get $15 billion from our NASA budget to go toward the money we needed here. We're going to get $26 billion from our prison system when we release low-level drug offenders and illegal aliens back into their home country. You see, Trump never used my idea to use illegal aliens at the border to build a fence. He's got a lot of our military men building his slat fence, which is a joke. My idea of the 1,000-mile fence came out in 2008, and Trump took it. And in that time period, in 3 years as president, he hasn't done anything. He claims he built 100 miles of fence, but that's just a ridiculous. It's a joke. The fence could be cut into very easily, or scaled or climbed. It's not like the fence that I'm proposing. But we can get $26 billion from the prison labor that we'll be using to build this container system. We'll take illegal aliens that are currently in our prison system and have them work their detail off, even pay them $1 a day. Building this container fence, once it's done, and we'll have about 400,000 illegal aliens that are currently in our prison system, not to mention the deportees, about 1 million deportees that probably would love to go back home. We'll give them apartments and places to live on the other side, like this. But spending 15 extra billion on NASA, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut the purse on that one. We'll keep the programs like Orion alive, but in no way am I going to fund the disastrous waste that Donald Trump is funding. And NOAA's got to be, we're going to pinch that money too. We're going to set up a plan where we no longer provide live feeds from the weather department at NOAA directly to CNN, Fox, and other news networks without charging them. I found this out. This is shocking that we provide a live feed at NOAA of all kinds of weather data, and CNN doesn't even pay for it. Neither does Fox or any local affiliate. Isn't that unbelievable? So your tax dollars are going into a live feed of daily tracking of the weather, which is probably being modified as we speak. But there's lots of ways of cutting waste in our budget. How we're going to do it, we're going to have to get realistic. We're really going to have to effectively cut the waste that the Democrats have created and focus on projects that will build jobs. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have young men in your family who want to become welders, or like in that movie Shameless, where the young woman, the girl, becomes a welder. Wouldn't it be great to have welders again in America? Nobody's trained for welding. We can't repair our own bridges right now. So building a welder plan in our local community college and then getting money out into our infrastructure, we need to put about $25 billion into our infrastructure in America. So we really need to take money away from those NASA and NOAA and focus on road construction and building up our bridges, because we've got a failing infrastructure that's growing every single day. This problem is getting worse. So building careers in welding is just part of a multi-tier plan I have to get people educated. We've got a 6-week to 6-month education program for people that will be rolling out in the universities and small colleges. People will be able to get a certification in a field that'll get them $20 to $25 an hour for a job, doing anything from installing solar panels to maybe working as an EMT, emergency medical technician. So that's just part of our big plan for the country. I have some images that I can show you, but I think I'll go to my peaceful place here. There we go. Yeah, so here we are. The plan for this new America that I envision will also include air filtration, from the smokestacks at all of our major industrial outlets, including our refineries. Water filters for everybody for home use that will be mass produced in conjunction with other companies like Brita and Zero Water Filter will produce filters that are cheaper and much more easy to pop in and out and recycle. Whereas those companies don't recycle their filters, we will recycle water filters. So your family will be able to take your filters to the recycling center in your area where they'll be able to, get a brand new one for you. So everyone will be drinking purified water in this beautiful new America that I envision. The Democrats want to make luxury taxes on everything from sodas to orange juice, anything with sugar water in it. That's not the approach that I would take. I would actually produce filtered water in bottles, not plastic, that would be like Cabernet bottles that are currently on the market and easily transferable. But the filtered water would be flavored, and it would have like spritzes of real organic fruit juices like blueberry and raspberry and organic orange flavor. These kinds of things will really appeal to the broad population, and we'll be able to give you a choice, and you'll be able to buy these things, and the government will produce them. We won't stop the current sugar water and tap water products in the market. We'll just introduce these new ones and see how well they take, because a lot of people use their EBT card to buy sodas and drinks, believe it or not. And that's been a problem. And the Democrats can't come up with a solution other than extremely high taxes. So I'm coming up with an alternative drink that I'm going to promise the American people it'll be completely clean water with low amounts of sugar. So it won't give you the kind of disease that the Democrats seem to want to give you when they allow that to go out there. All I'm saying is we need alternatives. And ending chemtrails. A big part of the problem in America is the endless spray of chemtrails above us. And I've been working on the plan to do just that. Okay, so take a look at this massive dump of chemicals here. This is just one of the many chemical drops, and this is not condensed air, people. This is an absolute effort to dump chemicals in the air, and many of you wonder, why would they do that? Well, they do that because they basically want to modify the weather. That's the primary goal, is modifying the weather. And I came to this conclusion many years ago, but I put it on the screen for all of you to understand where I'm coming from. Weather modification is climate change. So the very people that accuse you of being a weirdo for calling things chemtrails, like the Democrats, they're starting to talk about stratospheric aerosol injection as a way to solve the world's problems. So they're saying that by dumping more chemicals in the air, we're going to make it better, cleaner. That's insane. That's like saying starting wars all around the world is going to create peace. It's absurd. Everyone can see it's absurd. So clearly we have to stop what they're doing, the weather modification. And this is not going to be easy because these people are entrenched in power and they're dumping chemicals on us daily. Scissor Fight sees it all over his area of Orange County, California. We get evidence in Wyoming from Mike Decker. All these people have seen chemtrails around their house and they are absolutely pissed off. And just a couple days ago, there was a fuel dump over 4 elementary schools in Los Angeles. Yeah, the fuel dump over LA puzzles aviation experts. No one knows why they did this. This is how out of it our FAA is. The Federal Aviation Administration can't even get to the bottom of what happened a couple days ago when 50 kids were doused, 20 children were doused, 50 people were doused with gasoline or jet fuel. Yeah, another otherwise routine outdoor recess was upended when all these kids had this jet fuel on their head. Delta Flight 89 was headed to Shanghai, experienced engine problems that required it to return to LA. Less than 20 minutes after takeoff, during the emergency landing, the airplane dropped jet fuel around 2,000 feet, hitting 4 schools situated in its path. And experts are saying they're puzzled by the unusual decision to dump fuel at this type of maneuver. It'd be nice to get a real comment. Yeah. One captain said fuel dumps occur only to reduce the plane's weight for unexpected landings because of maximum takeoff weight higher than landing weight. All I can assume is that thing wanted to glide. Yeah, it must have had a problem getting its fuel directed. I don't know. You wouldn't drop your fuel if you're trying to get fuel to your engine, though. David, this country is grand, but it's run by clowns that are put in power by mobsters. You said a mouthful there, Greek god. So true. There have been mystery drones spotted in multiple areas of Nebraska. No one knows who's flying them. This is an interesting story that keeps getting better. Last week we talked about it, and Meow TV suggested that these drones were being tested for future use against terrorists. That was his theory.
There's been multiple reports in Colorado, in western Nebraska, and now it's made its way to Sarpy County. Giant, unexplained drones swarming the night sky.
A Papillion resident reported seeing several drones flying in unison Friday night, like this one in Yuma County, Colorado. This comes as Colorado and now multiple parts of Nebraska have also been dealing with these mystery drones.
Most interesting part is that the drones were flying at night, and the people don't really know what they are doing there, and no feedback from federal agencies, local government, and nobody really knows what's going on there.
Drones are complex and extremely advanced. They can be used for filmmaking, emergency services, agricultural monitoring.
The drone, similar to our computer systems, it can really do a lot of things. To me, the only limitation is your imagination.
But no one knows what these drones are doing except that they're flying in patterns, they're large, and there's many of them.
They don't know if it's illegal or not because right now there's no way of knowing what is up there.
Based on flight patterns and altitude, experts believe it could be some sort of agricultural monitoring. Regardless, the fact that no one can account for them, not even the Federal Aviation Administration, is frightening residents.
I would say maybe other people don't have to overreact to these operations or to be nervous about that, but you never know what they are actually doing there.
Some people have talked about shooting the drones down, but that's not a good idea. The mystery drones are reportedly 6 feet in length. If the drones happen to be over 55 pounds as well, they technically could be considered to be aircraft.
If that's a legal registered drone, if you shoot it down, you are essentially shooting an aircraft down. So that's definitely illegal.
Registered or not, it's going to be dangerous. And these, the batteries that these things have are very flammable.
For reference, our 3 News Now Sky Tracker is about 1.5 foot long quadcopter. The mystery drones are estimated to be almost triple in size and have fixed wings, like this smaller version at UNO. Our 3 News Now Sky Tracker pilot believes it's agricultural information these people are after. People shouldn't be too worried.
I think people are concerned, especially people that aren't familiar with drones and the technology.
Reporting in Omaha, Rudolph Sinaida, 3 News Now.
Okay, now, yeah, I'm going to show you this is weird. This is a video that was taken a few years ago, and actually 1999, of crop circles. Now, I just saw balls of light. I didn't see a drone there. Did you guys see the makings of a drone? I saw balls of light. Great balls of light. As you can see from the picture, it is definitely a ball of light right there. So look at these balls that are seen traveling at high speeds above the crop circles. Now, these are not the only instances of, we call them orbs, okay? And they're about 6 feet wide in dimension. We call them orbs, but they have been seen around crop circles, and I'm not trying to sound like a whack job here, but I just showed you those. You saw them, right? Well, guess what? They've been seen around, no, they've been seen in high-flying chemtrails as well. Yeah, it's just amazing. I'm not making any of this up. I wish I was, but our government doesn't seem to have a clue as to what this is. And our government, remember, won't admit to dropping chemicals on your head. Yeah, they just won't.
Kimmy's in the air, everywhere I look around.
Yeah, chemicals are floating in our skies above us, and there are particles everywhere, and our country's doing nothing to make anyone aware of them. But there are lots of things happening. Brilliant white orbs flying through. Let's take a look. Yeah, look at that. It's like a ball of lightning floating in the sky. These are actual photographs. So, how do we know that these orbs aren't just proliferating and growing in number or maybe replicating? Yeah, so I wish I knew what these were, and I wish our government would talk about what these are, but again, we've had no comments from anyone about what exactly these things are. So I'm as clueless as you are on the subject. I can guess, though. I can pontificate, and I can believe that they're in some sort of electromagnetic ball of lightning, which can be manipulated in the air using radio frequency or phased array radar, which give our country the ability to manipulate the weather. Because remember, there's a lot of heavy metals in the atmosphere that they're dumping that can move along with radiation patterns. And this isn't hocus pocus, folks. This is what Tesla developed over 100 years ago. So many of you are not aware that there are things now being used in our society that could very well be putting chemicals and waste material in the air. Or worse, igniting it. Now, one of the things they noticed in the recent Australian outbreak of fires is Australian TV was noting that they saw chads or charred, like a chad, heavy metal storms, if you will, of chards in the air. And they noted it. The meteorologist actually on Australian television said, yeah, this is some sort of a heavy metal attack with chards and whatever you call these heavy metals that are floating, aluminum chaff, a chaff attack. But all of that preceded the fires. Now, it's also important to note that aluminum and barium are incendiary devices and can easily triple the intensity of a fire. That would explain why some of these cars in Australia burned to 3,000 degrees and had molten lava coming out of their alloy wheels. Same thing happened in California not too long ago, about a year and 2 years earlier. So we're seeing a pattern here across the globe that our government won't actually tell us what's happening. Nor will they acknowledge there's some problem that they can't explain either. So we have a very incompetent government officials that are just absolutely clueless, or they really do know something and they're keeping it quiet. One or the other. We're not sure at this point. Contrails are something that come out of, yeah, these are chemtrails. Contrails are actually the condensed air that come out of jets. They dissipate rather quickly. But you're right, the two parties won't talk about chemtrails. And a lot of you Republicans are refusing to talk about climate change. And you Democrats don't want to talk about weather modification except to think that somehow we're putting chemicals in the air is going to help. It won't. We absolutely have to do something about it. I'm concerned about drones, don't get me wrong. I mean, if these things are 6-foot drones, whatever they are, I want to know what the heck these things are, if they are indeed drones. But I want to know what these orbs are. Because all I saw were balls of light in Nebraska from that show. There was no real clear image of a drone that I could see. So I'm looking at these as orbs, not drones. You got Twitter, Facebook, and Drone. This is the new company that will be your new social network, the Drone. Yeah. Gee, I think I'll send all my images to the Drone there. Great balls of fire. Anyway, I'm concerned. I would never have authorized 30,000 drones to fly over the sky like Obama and Trump did. I would have put safeguards together to prevent over-droning of the population. And we all know they can be weaponized, so we're a little concerned about that. I'm kind of skittish about it. Elvis is alive, yeah, I know. Have you seen him? Yeah, I think he's like 85. He's an incredible singer. Can you believe that one? There is a guy that lives underground at the Graceland area that is supposedly the caretaker. And he's really old. And he looks just like Elvis. And he is an amazing guy because his voice is identical to Elvis. Yeah. But he's technically the caretaker, not affiliated with Elvis at all. He said so himself. You've seen the video a few times. I don't have to bore you with that. I hate when I have to pull it out and show you, like I do, when I do what I do. I don't mind doing it, though. Well, let's be clear. Hey, Biden's still in the race, isn't he? He's been doing some pretty powerful things. Yeah, he talked to a little girl, when he was a little 13-year-old girl was just meeting with Joe Biden when he was vice president. And we captured some audio of him talking to a little girl, 13 years old. And you're not going to believe what he said. If I haven't shown this to you, let me play it for you.
Times when he gently rearranges a young girl's hair and whispers in her ear, then rearranges some more. There's something pervy here as he leans in for a kiss.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, come on, slide in here.
Thank you. Maggie, do you want to come over here?
Yeah, I can't. The way.
Thank you.
Do you want to know how horny I am to have a? Yeah, you can see it right there. Yeah, standing right next to me. Talk to my daughter Ashley about the film. Okay, so Joe, before we can proceed with you as the Democratic nominee, I really think it'd be incumbent upon you to let Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders eat each other up in this attack of the liars. Liar versus moocher versus liar. You, Joe, have to answer to the question of where's that film of you and Ashley? I'd like to see, well, I don't want to see it because it could be too weird, but where is that film? Yeah, so I'm curious about it too. Joe? Channing said they banned me. I had to use my son's account. Are you serious? It's Rachel? Oh my gosh, Rachel, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, thanks, Rachel, for participating in our Periscope show. I'm sorry that they banned you. It looks like we're being censored pretty hard in Periscope, so you guys who want to watch us over there also should know that we do have a website where you can get more of our sites out there called coolrock.com. Cool Rock, like cool rock, man. Yeah, coolrock.com is a site I created to have our dual chat shows at the same time. But I also had the site way before then. I've been working on developing a social network over there. I call it the Cool Rock Online Community, and we have Flash running. So if you enable Flash, click on the button and go enable, you can see our show over there. And you'll see the other chat rooms that we respond to in our show. But I appreciate your comments, Rachel. I really do. You've been pretty interesting chatter over there. I've got fun stuff on here. You can play music. You can do lots of things. There's buttons that'll lead you all kinds of places that are unique to the internet. And this is an interesting one where you play with a AI system. Wow. You really have 4 keys and it only spits back 2. Wow, and there's one that spit back more than I put in. Isn't that interesting? There is another button that's very interesting. You can actually talk to chat with AI here. If you click this button, it opens up the chat with AI system where you can talk to AI. It's very, very cool. I asked it about David Sponheim and it spit back the weirdest response I've ever seen. I won't get into that right now. Web Oasis has a button here that's pretty interesting. This was a chat room celebrities reference to us. We got this through him. And you click on this, it'll take you to the entire internet. So that's just one of the things you can do. And there's drop-down menus that'll take you all over. Way better than Google and any other supplier of information. It really opens up the broad spectrum, including areas of the internet you didn't even know existed. But also at Cool Rock is this amazing virtual reality, cloud-based virtual reality. And many of these buttons here are really cool to explore. The one in the middle, right there next to the type button, this is the type button where you type in there. The one next to it is this ball that opens up 3D, all kinds of things. And this is a Mr. Doob plugin. And these people offer this stuff for free. Everything here is free. All sides news, very interesting, cutting edge news from all 3 sides of the political spectrum. I get that to you at the bottom. And if you want to check out the United States, this is a way to check out the map and find out about our country. It gives really concise information about all the states. Virginia, West Virginia, there's 2 states there. You can find out about West Virginia right there. Or Virginia. One of the first states in the United States, founded after the colony of Jamestown. Yeah. Anyway, fun stuff at Cool Rock. That's why we give you alternatives. Yeah, I'm sorry you had to use your son's account. Not fun. Dave, we need to build a wall. Well, the wall is not going to be good if Trump can't build it fast enough. I've talked about my wall idea, Glazy. And like I said, I can build this within a year. Trump has taken 3 years to build 100 miles of a slat fence that anybody with a good buzzsaw could cut right through. This is going to be much harder to break into. And we can offer places for people to live at the bottom with a reinforced back wall using shotcrete blown up against wiring. We can make the back of that container at the base much safer. Nobody could cut through it. So we could build that up and provide places like restaurants and housing for people who are illegal trying to get into our country, as opposed to the current system we have, which is really antiquated. In fact, they can't even keep up with all the people. When the freeze hit last week in the Arizona, Nevada area, New Mexico, it was an unbelievable it was very, very cold for the poor illegal aliens that are there. They froze. A lot of them are really, really cold. It's been very hard right now. And these people have Mylar blankets. It's crazy what we're putting these people through right now. I've had a construction experience, yeah. I built a couple buildings. I built a yurt with a bunch of other people. I built a large shed, which I use. I've helped to build cabins. I've helped to build, well, one of the things I'd like to build would be an amazing biodome for everybody at the homestead renewal plan. That would be nice. Yeah, I'd like to give everybody like a greenhouse experience to generate fresh vegetables. I think that'd be pretty good if everyone had their own little greenhouse. So one of the ideas we have is the homestead renewal plan. And I have a little idea generator here I'm going to bring up. Yeah, we have a couple ideas to generate jobs. One is the homestead renewal plan and the other is the rooftop revolution. And that's the solar rooftop revolution to create jobs. Both of these can work together. A lot of the houses we will be taking and renovating will be houses in distress, but with good bones. There's a lot of houses in America that are sitting there waiting to have brand new insulation blown in, and a possibility of a complete reface with vinyl siding or maybe just paint will make the crew at that location decide what's best for that property. But brand new carpeting, new insulation, a 40-year roof offered, and a solar rooftop option that would be able to help supply you with low-cost electricity while we lease the rooftop. And if we lease rooftops around the country, we'll be able to actually generate more money than we give back to you, which will help pay for the program. But you'll be saving 20% on your electricity. This homestead renewal plan could be a $15 an hour opportunity of people painting walls and doing carpeting and whatnot, learning a trade. We'll pay $15 an hour to basic workers and $25 an hour to people that are fairly experienced and more like journeyman plumbers and carpenters and electricians. So two-tier opportunity for immediate work, very much like the CCC of the old days, the Conservation Corps corpsmen. The idea of groups of people that work because they want to make money and they also want to live in a nice house. Now, working in the Homestead Renewal Plan will give you an opportunity to own that house. Every day that you work there would be a point toward your down payment, which would lower your down payment. And you could also gift these points to family members who don't have a house or anybody who you feel is deserving of a gift. So if you've got old guys, retirees working in the program who don't even want a wage, we'll give you a special point total and give you points toward whoever you want to gift that to. So that will go toward their down payment on their house. And everybody working the program will actually have an opportunity to become successful in their own life, because they could work for maybe $800 to $1,000 a month in income and pay $500 a month for about 10 years to own this. And so you'd have this house completely owned in 10 years at $500 a month, and you'd be working in the program at the same time, assuming the program goes on past 4 years. So that's something that I think would really stimulate our job sector. All right. Scissorfine hangs out at iBlog. You can watch him over there right now if you want. He's free delivery and assembly options. Nice. Thanks, Max. Yeah, he's over there right now. Yeah, he's the super op we have over there. Tiny houses are becoming expensive as they grow with popularity. I know, you're right. I know people that have been able to convert $2,000 containers into nice homes. So if you're going to build a tiny house, you may want to consider buying a container for about $2,000. They sell them on Craigslist. And you could have a large 40-foot by 12-foot container put on any property and begin opening doors into it and insulate the whole thing. And structurally, there won't be a better value than that container building. I think container homes really are the future, ironically. And additionally, container homes have something else that you may like. They are like Faraday cages. So when you're inside of a container, you can't pick up a cell phone signal. You're also safe from any potential radiation, especially low-level radiation like RF frequencies. So I'm thinking actually of building a container home myself somewhere. I'm actually toying with the idea. Not where I live right here, but it'd be interesting to have a secondary residence container home. And Max has a cool container homes for sale right now. Interesting. So this is Waste Reduction Wednesday, where we try to talk about how to save money, how to live efficiently, how to come up with jobs for everybody in our country, how to get more people money. Very simple Wednesday show, really, when you think about it. But we're open to social issues as well on Wednesday, like capital punishment. I support it at the federal level. I don't believe that I should tell states what to do. It's not my right. The 10th Amendment gives them the right to choose what state crimes should be. So states that don't have capital punishment, I would certainly respect those states' wishes. The coolest shipping containers for sale right now. Look at those. Wow. Now, some of these come as kits, and they aren't cheap. So, yeah, $98,000 to $300,000. Exactly. It's not like taking a container building and building it up yourself. These people really have done a lot of work in building this stuff. So we're going to feature that tonight, how to build a container home, in our evening show. Four-minute video. They start with containers like that, and they gradually put windows on them. You need a welder on site because a lot of the doors have to be cut out, but this is totally doable. Yeah. But you're right, the prices are through the roof, tiddly-dee. Good point. Bad pedophile game show host needs arresting. Really? What's that all about? There are 276 million registered vehicles in the United States as of 2018. And 44% of those vehicles are cars, so there's more trucks than cars registered as a vehicle. Wow. Tilly D says, how do you pay for giving 300 million people $500 a month? It's more than $150 billion, Tiddly. It's $1 trillion, but it will be paid for out of the budget that we currently drop into welfare. And the budget we currently are wasting on certain programs that are clearly going nowhere. Obviously, like I said, $26 billion a year go out to Mexicans, illegal aliens that are in our prison system. There's a lot of problems with that system. Okay. Right. We saw that bad pedophile game show host need arresting pedo cringe perv Jimmy Savile weirdo. Yeah, I'm not going to play that in the show right now, but yeah, we've seen that video before. There are weirdos in TV right now that are absolutely should be checked out. We found out last week there's a law in Hollywood that says that every single studio needs to register everyone who works with kids and have background checks. And not one studio has honored that rule. Not even the studio that recently did the Tom Hanks video of Mr. Rogers. They didn't check anybody out, not even Tom Hanks. So it's a very interesting situation we're dealing with. They're on air now? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Well, they came over here illegally, so they are called illegals. You can call them immigrants, whatever. No, I don't think we should even register guns with the government. Uh-oh, Mr. Bill. I think we're making a big mistake forcing all this government upon people and the individual. We need to start cutting costs. And getting the government to back off of regulations and all the bureaucracy associated with that will also cut costs. The $500 a month deal, we won't have large social workers sitting around checking on you every 6 months, going, I don't think you're living alone. There's somebody else on your food budget. I think that won't be the problem. You won't have to worry about that. Everybody won't have to fill those forms out anymore who qualify. You'll get your $500 a month on the card, and it will just keep repeating. And if you don't draw from it, it zeroes out. You'll have a 3-month period to draw from it. Within a 3-month period, if it goes idle, it zeroes out. You won't have any money in there. But you can accrue up to $1,500 in 3 months if you don't touch it. But I would definitely draw from it every month when the system is in place. That's how people handle their food stamps now. If you don't draw from it, you don't get to keep your food stamps after 3 months. And it is ostensibly the food stamp program, just beefed up a little bit, without all the social welfare programs that are associated with that. So we will save money on the bureaucracy. We'll be getting rid of welfare. That'll be something we'll finally phase out in America, which has been a big plan ever since FDR put it into place with the New Deal. And all the social welfare programs the Democrats are pitching. Affordable health care will eventually become unaffordable. We won't be able to afford affordable health care. Right now, Donald Trump is already underpaying out to states. It's unaffordable. What happened to the Democrats is they kept giving money to big doctors and administrators and nurses instead of giving them to the American people. Yeah, anybody rich, BS detector, anybody rich could get money. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't have a status like you wouldn't qualify except to be a U.S. citizen. The goal is to get a lot of money infused in our economy because right now we're suffering. And believe it or not, there's stores like Sears and J.C. Penney's that are barely hanging on right now. Barely. I've shown you the weapons that I have. My 2 BB guns. Yeah. Yeah, I put a whole show together with the BB gun show. You've seen that, right? It's The Spawning of America. I played that for you. I haven't talked about the Project Veritas video yet because, number one, the guy that they interviewed, the Bernie supporter, is just that. He's an outright weirdo, obviously, who wants to impose some sort of an attack and line people up and, haul them in, anybody who they don't agree with. There are left-wing nut jobs out there all the time. I don't think that interviewing a left-wing nut job represents the entire Democratic Party or Bernie Sanders, so I'm not going to imply that this is a Bernie Sanders position of locking people up in FEMA camps, and I just think it's a little bit out there. I'll play it later, but right now I'd rather play The Spawning of America. So I'll play a little of this for you. This explains my gun position.
How you doing, partner? I was wondering if you want to talk about my weaponry. I've got a lot of things up my sleeve here. I got everything from 100% pain, a hot sauce I could throw in somebody's face, or anything. So if somebody wants to cause trouble, they could easily do that with a knife or a steak knife, a common steak knife. I mean, look at the Manson family. They went to the Sizzler and got steak knives. Are you going to outlaw steak knives? I want to talk about the assault weapon ban that they're saying could affect everybody. Question is, do you feel like this Luger is an assault weapon? Well, it's not. It's a BB gun. That's right, rapid fire. And I have it on my person. Or would you possibly think that this is the most powerful assault BB gun in the world? It's a Grossman. It'll shoot a gerbil's head off at 1,000 feet. But think about it. You want assault weapons banned so that you won't be safe and criminals can get your guns? The question is, do you feel lucky? Well, do ya, punk? Is it an assault weapon? When I put a little BB inside and safely pump it up? And then I take a shot at a gerbil. Whoops, bounce back. Well, is that unsafe? Are you to call that an assault weapon? Well, the question is, criminals can get BB guns. They can get a lot worse. They could even get handguns and assault weapons. So why would you want to ban them? Think about it, America. The crime rates dropped 24% in 10 years, with no major changes in gun control. The question is, do you want your rights taken away from you, the right to defend yourself against a tyrannical government? Or, for that matter, an intruder on your own property? There's no reason for gun control, and I believe that the current administration are a bunch of mamby-pamby girly men who don't realize the power of an assault BB gun. When are you going to stop taking the rights of the American people away? Think about it. And go ahead and make my day.
All right, thank you for letting me play that for you. It's been a long time since I did that. About 9 years ago, I did that. It's kind of impressive to know that, my position on gun control completely evolved over time. When I started this, I was actually in favor of instigating an assault weapons ban in 2008. By 2010, my approach was completely different. I'd listened to the people in the right wing who convinced me that there's no way they should take guns away because criminals can get guns illegally. Why would we take citizens? You'll shoot your eye out if you do that, yeah. Why would you take citizens' guns away from you? There's no reason. Plus, other statistics came my way. The realization that every Holocaust was preceded by gun control. That shocked me when I heard that. And then I realized we cannot discuss gun control. And this centrist movement can't take on gun control. It would divide us immediately. So in a way, I have to predicate the centrist movement on no gun control imposed upon the American people. Now, I've often talked about verification, and even when I took an NRA test and I talked about verification, I was still on the fence. But I realized I wasn't going to get the right wing to budge on this. So I've decided that if we do any type of modernization with the FBI's system, we'll make sure that it is accessible online and easy for people, but not required. Yeah, the background check system that is currently in operation has phone numbers that go right to the FBI. And right now there's an 800 number. It's one FBI NICS. This is the 800 number to get background checks. But this could be an automated system so that it would be easier for people who are concerned about some pretty rough characters buying weapons at gun shows. If you want to do a background check to make that choice yourself, we'd give you that option. It's only going to modernize and streamline the system for the FBI and save money. Modernization is the key, but forcing people to do background checks, I don't want that to happen either. Forcing registration for weapons, not going to happen. I think all of those issues are divisive and would tear us apart as a centrist movement. So I definitely am completely aware of your concerns, and the people of Virginia and West Virginia right now who are extremely upset that the Democrats are taking away their rights to bear arms, or attempting to. And West Virginia is now offering a place for people to, counties to move over to West Virginia from Virginia. This is unprecedented. Never before in our history have we seen such things. But the Virginia government has declared a state of emergency, like I said earlier, after armed militias threatened to storm the Capitol. A lot of people are upset that the liberal capital in Virginia is pushing the idea of checkpoint Charlie gun checks. Nobody wants that. And I reported that West Virginia was doing something similar in a video last night, which I'll probably play again tonight. It's in the lineup. West Virginia talking about putting it on their ballot, an opportunity for the Virginia counties to actually become West Virginia counties. Unprecedented in our history. One state offering another state new line divisions in their boundaries over this issue. So we are going to be seeing dissension from the Democrats because of this. They're dividing our country, which is not good. We need to get gun control off the table, stop talking about it. And I'm not a Democrat anymore, so I won't talk about it either. We have got bigger fish to fry here. Yeah, that particular Grossman that I pumped up there, that has BBs and it also has pellets. And the pellets can fire at 1,200 feet per second with a full 9 pump on that thing. That'll take out a rabbit. Yeah, easily. I'm not a hunter, so I'm just telling you, I know about guns because my father was a sharpshooter and he taught me how to shoot. But I don't in any way feel like it's something I would use unless I was starving to death. I don't want to go kill a squirrel with my pellet gun. But I'd be willing to do it if I was starving to death. Absolutely. I don't really like the squirrel that much anyway. Yeah, well, in a lot of states, tiddly-dee, the rights of people to defend their property are stand your ground laws, like in Florida, and the castle law here in Washington, where every man has a home and that home is his castle. Thank you for coming in, soul child. Take it easy. Wander around. You don't want to shoot people, though, out in your front yard. That's illegal. So without all the divisiveness the Democrats offer, the extreme communist thinking Ocasio-Cortez represents, without all that push for gun control, with just a common sense approach toward fiscal, the crisis we're in with spending, I think the centrist party really could begin to cut the budget. Right now, the two parties are stuck on providing big kickbacks to their donors. Anybody who gives them money for re-election gets kickbacks or tax breaks or whatever, tax credits. Those are eliminated with the centrist movement, a third party. The idea of kickbacks disappear when a third party is involved. So if a third party were to evolve in this country, we wouldn't be beholden to all the moneyed interests like the Democrats, Republicans. And we'd be able to begin trimming the budget. And that's a part which I think could really use some trimming. I mean, we got areas that we could save beyond what I just talked about earlier. Yeah, Ocasio is losing her district. Yeah, their polling is really bad. She comes off as a person who doesn't know what she's saying or doesn't have any clear understanding of the economy. And for a woman who graduated with an economics degree from the University of Boston, that's crazy. I can't imagine giving her a University of Boston or a University of Massachusetts degree in economics. She doesn't even understand the simplest things, like when Jeff Bezos was willing to build lots of work, lots of jobs in her area in New York. She said no, she didn't want it because she'd use that $1 billion in the tax break for the people for homeless shelters. Now, a tax break isn't $1 billion in cash. It's an incentive for a company to build in that area. It's not $1 billion in cash. She confused that tax break of $1 billion as money in the bank for her to build homeless shelters. She doesn't even understand what a tax break is. So that's not a person who graduated from economics, in my opinion. The new Green Deal would cost the country way more money. Yeah, they estimate $60 trillion to go with her concept. And none of you would be allowed to drive a car or take a plane flight if her new Green Deal got off the ground. I have ideas like bringing back the Conservation Corps. What FDR had during the 1940s is kind of a cool idea. The CCZ program was impressive. It had a lot of qualities that made it appealing to young people. And when FDR created the Civilian Conservation Corps, he really built up a lot of the parks, and a lot of our national parks were really, really improved. Well, it's exactly what I intend, is to offer people a chance to live in the woods and also opportunities to work as alternative park ranger people. Yeah. And fixing up houses would be part of it. You'd be participating in the Homestead Renewal Plan as a Civilian Conservation Corps member. You'd be guaranteed $15 an hour and a place to live, which is an even better idea. But his deal started in '33 and was a federally funded program, putting thousands of Americans to work during the Great Depression on projects with environmental benefits. So consider a new CCC as a part of my plan, but not the new Green Deal. Everything about that's mindless. Wasting money is mindless. Bengalitis said, did inflation raise your proposal from $400 to $500? No, Andrew Yang initially shocked me when he offered $1,000, so I brought it up to $500. I was the one that came up with the universal basic income. Andrew Yang copied the idea and doubled it. We cannot sustain what Andrew Yang is offering. There's no way we could do it. We have a baseline plus plan where we give people the $500 a month, and the plus part is them getting a job. We don't want to give you extra. Whereas giving you too much creates a largesse in the population of people sitting around doing nothing. Right now in Sweden, they're having a problem funding their social programs because everybody's drawing from the social programs and not doing anything. So we want to give people an incentive to get a job, but also keep them from being completely impoverished on the street, like so many veterans are today who can't qualify for any money. 35% of our veterans across the country are homeless. And this is exactly, we're targeting that group, as well as anybody else, including yourself, who wants a little extra money. We're also eliminating the stigma of having an EBT card. A lot of people don't like to pull that EBT card. It's a little bit embarrassing. Well, people like stockbrokers could have those, and just to pay for their cabbies or whatever they're doing, they could use their $500 a month just like anybody else. And some people who put money into the system in taxes might want to get it back. A lot of you are pissed off you pay taxes. This is one way of getting that money back. But it's a fair way of spreading the wealth and not just giving it to Lockheed Martin or Boeing or some other company. Now, Donald Trump has relaxed the trade tariff, has not relaxed the trade tariffs with China, but signed an agreement with China so that we will continue doing business. Lots of oil will be going forward. Boeing contracts will be going forward, but no relief for the farmers or the manufacturing sector. They're still going to suffer from the tariffs that China is applying to our stuff, as well as the tariffs we apply on China. So not big progress with the Chinese trade talk, but he did have a concession there insofar as he signed something. That's great. The problem is Donald Trump did not attach any caveats to include human rights abuse changes in China, and no mention of the Hong Kong people or self-rule. So he could have easily put into the trade talks a plan that we thought would be fair for Hong Kong and for China. We could have easily talked about eliminating the harvesting of organs from illegals in China. It's been going on for some time, and as well as human rights abuses, but we could have done something, but he missed an opportunity to do something. And he cut a trade deal with China without making any modifications to our approach toward China, which is kind of sad. And I'm sure China is still very upset that they don't have Meng released from her charges for trading with Iran and violating Donald Trump's economic sanctions.
Yes, David has talked about having a universal health care.
Absolutely, yeah. Our universal health care plan is a public option. And it's also stretches across to include mobile medical units, which will be delivered medicine to 200 cities or 200 mobile medical units spidered around the country in up to as many cities as we want to do. Some cities like Los Angeles will take 10 vehicles to take care of people. 10 mobile medical units will be built. The amount of money we give NASA every year, it's absurd. I mean, $20 billion a year. If we reduce some of the money to NASA, if we only had $1 billion a year, we could produce units like this, the one that Mayo Clinic uses. We could make a mobile medical unit rapidly deployed anywhere in the country. Put our MMU sign and rapid response sign on the side, and we'd have ourselves an immediate solution for healthcare in every area, so we could lower the cost of healthcare. Now, nobody else is talking about this except, of course, Trump tried to steal the idea in 2016 and never ever implemented it. But this is a really solid idea to lower cost and couple it with a public option for $60 a month. And this is not mandatory. You won't be required. If you want to get a public option, you'd pay the $60 a month. And that would be a simple way. It's very similar to Bernie's $1,200 a month per family. I don't think that's, or $1,200 a year per family. I don't think that's really realistic, what he's saying, but $60 per person per month is what I'm shooting for. And coupling that with public hospitals and nonprofit hospitals that have set rates. So we definitely have a plan for healthcare. Sarah's going to take over for a while I take a bit dinner break. Thank you.
The cosmetic surgeries, those would not necessarily be included in the universal health care political love unless they were deemed as truly medically necessary, such as if someone had their face burned in a fire or something like that. But if it was if it was like for breast implants or cheekbone resurfacing, that would not be covered. One of the things, actually, David and I was talking to David about medical care. And yes, you're right about eyeglasses and dental costs, maxed out credit. That definitely looking at one pair of glasses every 2 years or something like that, that would be really good. Yes, if you did get cancer, there would be probably a certain amount that, or, well, actually, what I'd love to see is doctors that are public doctors that are funded by that are paid by the government directly. So then they would decide on the best treatment for you, and if they had the time and that and the equipment that to treat your cancer appropriately, yes, they definitely should. It all depends on what cancer it is, Bengalitis. No, it wouldn't be a monetary amount, Anderson. So it would not be like so much money is going to be spent on somebody. It's going to be that I foresee it as perhaps there would be a certain amount for specialists, that if the primary public doctors couldn't handle and they needed to refer you to a specialist, that might be a monetary amount for a person. But I think that it should be, I think there's a lot that public doctors could do. They're medically trained. And right now they have public hospitals, but those public hospitals are funded with both taxpayer dollars, and they're funded with also, they charge people when they come in. There definitely should and could be public oncologists included. At the very least, I believe we should, what I was talking to David about, if I had a utopia society, what I foresee with the healthcare system, and in my utopian society, everything would be covered, and everyone, even optional surgeries, would be covered. But in my ideal society, utopia, why not dream, I could see doctors having an actual office in the school and being able to, and they schedule out being able to see every child in the school system. And then so that they could have their annual checkup, and then also a pediatrician in the community so that they see children that are 0 to 5. I think that's a good starting point. And then, of course, we can build on from there. But I think that would be a really great starting point. And then the students wouldn't miss as much school, going to doctor's appointments. You could do the same with dentists, and something similar with either at the school or near the school with dentists. And I definitely have the kids always get their eyes checked once. Well, not every year, but younger children get their eyes checked, and then until a certain grade. But you could have a quick eye check and hearing check for all the kids, and all of those things. So some of those things are definitely good. Yeah, right now you say an eye test can be given under Medicare, but then they add extra for money. And I really think if you had a public doctor funded and paid similar to how public school teachers are funded and paid, then that would be an ideal society, in my opinion. They used to give you free milk until 3rd grade to strengthen your teeth. Wow. Well, David has talked about mobile medical unit, political love. And it is true, if you get your prostate checked, it's a good way to hopefully catch any prostate cancer early. Welcome, I done my nickel. I would say there's a lot of reasons you'd vote for David instead of Yang. David does believe in a southern wall. I haven't read all of Yang's platform. Yang does make some good points, though. Maxed out credit said 43% of Canadian citizens still don't have access to a family doctor. 43%. Wow. After 11 years since the law was enacted. Well, maybe Canada should do the same thing that I'm talking about. Ideally, is wherever there's a school, they should send a doctor there as well. $330 million they're using to spend on that. Wow. Oh, maxed out credit. It seems like you're one of the only ones talking over at iVlog. It's almost like I'm in a private chat with you. No thanks, Tiddly D. Thank you. I just needed more people to chat like you. That's all. Thank you for chatting. Nurses have been given rights to prescribe drugs, and pharmacies are now doing blood tests and vaccines. Well, you're right, little is known about the Canadian health system. Why are they doing it, Final Dream, in your opinion? Really, Bengalitis? There's not enough doctors. Many are retiring at 75 due to the shortage. Wow. They are keeping them on until they're 75? Wow. And the average time they see you is only 6 minutes. Hi, how are you? Wait, I can't ask you that. That'll take up too much time. They have to see 55 patients a day. Wow. And they're probably on the clock. Next. 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 Well, I've had that procedure done, Bengalitis. Well, that's a good question. Do you think if Bernie Sanders ever had a job or served in the military that he might not be a socialist? Yeah, maybe so. That's a good point, Tiddly D. Well, I thought I was put to sleep, but then my well, anyway, yes, we were put to sleep. Incorrect, Pirate. I do not have one of those. Yeah, the frozen tundra needs docks too. And if you're new, you have to work out in the outlying regions of Quebec. Just like they need teachers out there. No, Pirate, I really don't care. You tried to talk to your wife, but then she got drunk. She took the kids to her mother's, and now you're miserable. Do you want to be divorced? Are you miserable because your wife's gone? Are you miserable because your children are gone? Are you miserable because of both? Yes, I have heard that about Bernie. I'm sorry, but I really think that talking is the best answer, and her getting drunk and taking the kids to her mother is really her. It's really on her, not on you. You did a good job trying to talk to her and trying to explain the situation. And I would say the best thing that you could do right now is I'm sorry that you're miserable, is go through and clean up your house as best you can, because one of the problems was you said was that your children were running around the house screaming. I know it's quiet now, but I would go through and clean and organize and get it really nice and prepped for when they come back. Yeah, I think you have a point, Tiddly D. With Bernie. Sarah, will you consider drinking once you turn 60 years of age? No, I don't think so. I'll think by that time, I've gone 60 years without drinking, so why start now? Sometimes Bengalitis, sometimes. But yeah, just focus on getting a super clean house and making sure everything's organized the way you want it to be organized. And if your kids do come back and make a mess, get on them to clean it up right away. No, I've never tasted moonshine. I have had drinks before, but I never really got drunk. Well, one time, but I was drinking this coffee liqueur, so I was drinked and buzzed at the same time. It was really weird. And I don't like any of that. And one time I had a Vicodin pill when I had a surgery, and because the pain was really bad. But I didn't like that feeling either, a feeling of being out of control. So I decided I never want to drink. I never want to take any kind of, what are they called? Barbiturates. I don't know what they call them, but Vicodin and all that kind of stuff. I don't like the feeling of being out of control. You clean the Teflon heat post on the CPU or the heat sink or whatever it is. Well, either moderation or I try to eat chocolate with moderation. No, I don't. Getting drunk also is not going to solve your problems, 821. Even though you're sad and depressed, that's not going to solve anything. I'm sorry that you're sad and depressed and that your wife was an alcoholic. Maybe instead of trying to do that, you should see an Al-Anon club. Look up the word Al-Anon and go to an Al-Anon meeting. You could probably relate to people there. I especially love dark chocolate. But I would say, don't worry, she'll probably be coming back to you just like she did before. Her parents are going to eventually not want her staying with them. If she's just at her parents' house with the children drinking, they're eventually going to not put up with her behavior. No, Bangalitis, probably not. Alcoholics Anonymous is for people who are trying to stop drinking. I think it's a man, Tapine. Tapine says, I hope you don't go back to the alcoholic. Maybe sometimes it's best to move on from the relationship, but he has children with a woman. He loves her, but she's an alcoholic, and then he is really stressed out trying to work more than full time to support her, and then she left and went back. I encouraged him to try to talk to his wife and work it out, like tell her how he feels. And anyway, good night, maxed out credit. I think you're just getting older and your metabolism slows down when you're older, Bangalitis. And so it's probably a good thing to lose your appetite a little bit. The problem I'm having lately, I need to, only when I'm hungry. Sometimes I find myself eating even though I'm not hungry. Especially chocolate. Gazzy's advice is to pick up and leave, empty the bank account, and move far away, but I know that's not always easy when you're in a relationship. I don't know, Bangalitis. Maybe because we don't drink enough water. You'll have to talk to Father McFarlane again. I suggest seeing him one-on-one and explaining the situation, and maybe you need to get a psychologist too outside of the church. I don't think he really wants to do that though, Gazzy. Pick up and leave and empty the bank and move far away. I don't think he wants to do that because he has children and he loves his wife and she's an alcoholic. And I mean, I've known people that do go to Al-Anon meetings and they're you know, some of them, their spouse or significant other is still actively drinking, and others, they've stopped drinking. I don't know, Bengalitis. I don't think so, but I don't know. You'd have to ask a priest that, because I'm not a priest. He went to Rome for 3 weeks. Is there another father in the parish? Or maybe you should see if there's a couples counselor in your area. I do know that psychologists are required to report if you're being hurt physically, if you're planning on hurting someone, or you admit that you've hurt someone, or that you plan or admit that you've hurt yourself, then they're required to report that to other authorities to get you additional help. And that would including confessing a crime, is like admitting you've hurt someone. If you did a confession here on chat, then I would probably have to take if you admitted to committing a crime, I would have to take the chat logs to the authorities. I should say 0, correct, Zenu? Is that the right answer? Zero times. Well, then I would say that I don't want to talk about that. That's the right answer. If you won't accept 0. David is a wonderful person. He always listens. He always says everything that's on his mind. So he's really good. And I love my life. I love that I have a relationship with a man who loves me deeply. I love that he has his house paid off, and I benefit tremendously from that. I mean, it's our house. I could say that, I guess, even though I don't know if that would be legal, but I live in a house, and I pay very little for, I just help with things around the house. I love that I have a job that I just adore. I love my job. In fact, like the last 2 days have been snow days, and I've been a little sad. Just a little sad because, I want to go to, I love my job so much. I do love my cat. My cat, David, and I got her David got her a pet bed after the holidays, and she loves her new bed. I love that I have Netflix and Amazon. I love that it had that I got snow. the last 2 days. I am glad that it was a snow day. It allowed me to catch up on. My cat's name is Amber. I love that it allowed me to catch up. I got caught up and even ahead in some ways on some grading. It's like, I left a stack of quizzes the last day we were at school. I gave him a quiz and I left the stack at school and I didn't take it home to grade, but it's not a little igloo. It's just like an open pet bed. One year I bought her a like little cat house, which I had to take back. That was like an igloo because she didn't like it. You need a massage, 821. Yeah, I don't think you need a drink. I think you need to go get a professional massage tomorrow. What are the things that you like about your life, Zeno? I love that we have this show that David can come and talk about all of his life on this show rather than only tell me about it, even though he does tell me about everything he thinks every day. Yeah, I'm sure you could use a massage too, Gazzy. I love the internet and having access to the internet, even though I don't access everything. I love a little game I play on my phone. Yes, I do. It's true sometimes. David just, yeah, I mean, that's why he has a show.
Yeah, I have a show to talk, so I can share my ideas. How else would I be able to share my ideas?
Poor 821, he's the guy we were talking to yesterday, and he said his kids were, I was like, how do you manage a classroom with kids? My kids are running all over the house. And
oh, yeah.
And he was saying his wife drinks, and I was talking to him, and he's like, I tried talking to my wife, and now she took the kids, and she got drunk, took the kids, and went to her mom's.
Uh-oh.
So he's feeling depressed and sad, and
So she drank and then drove down the road with the kids in the car while she was drinking. That's nice. She got drunk, took the kids to her mom's house. Wow. That's scary. Kids are a big responsibility. Sarah's an amazing teacher, too. And, her kids, from what I've heard, really like to go to school. They really like...
My kids do like to go.
They like to go to school. And
well,
that's a
it
good
was so
sign.
cute. Like last week, I think was our first week back after winter break. And... last year I had a difficult class, and they have this other kid in my school that is challenging.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're like, they had a paraeducator that works with that kid one-on-one, and that child wasn't at school right away that morning, so they sent that paraeducator to help out my class.
Right.
And oh, sorry.
That's okay. I was just trying to stay off camera.
I was like, yeah, you can come in here, read with my kids. Can you read with this kid, like all these sight words, and then this kid? And they did, and they're like, and then I'm like, are you sure they didn't? You want to check out other classes? And that person told me I have a really nice class.
Wow.
And then the
paraeducator did?
Yeah, she's like, you have a really nice class.
That's nice.
And then they go to a specialist, and sometimes the specialist is, they see every kid in the whole school, and sometimes it's my students see that specialist at the end of the day, and it's just it can be trying.
Yeah.
Because they've seen, they've gone through the day with boom, back-to-back classes. And anyway, last week, that specialist, like, you have a really nice, helpful class. And so then I have like these Thankful Thursday class meetings, and I told the students that the thing I'm most thankful for is that I had, a couple adults tell me what a nice, pleasant group of kids I have.
Group of kids you have, yeah.
My class is so nice, and I think it's because we do Thankful Thursday.
Okay.
meetings. Okay, I'll take off. Or
Yeah, I got a call coming in on the Trump subject. Hey, is this you, Timothy? Can I help you? Hang on. Okay, that was not quite the same thing I thought it was. Well, thank you, Sarah. You know, the fact that you got a group of kids that are great, and they like to go to school. That's the best part about it.
They like to go to school almost as much as I do.
Yeah, and she likes her job. Yeah. Now, the thing a lot of you have not understood is that no matter how many times you come in and condemn me and threaten me, I'm not going anywhere. You're stuck with me because I actually beat you at this game a long time ago. You just don't know you lost. Yeah, the Democrats are eating each other up. Elizabeth Warren's debate stage antics prove her dishonesty once again. This is campaign rhetoric coming up. Yeah. Democratic Party dark money linked to Ocasio-Cortez is being spent $500,000 attacking Biden and Buttigieg. So we'll see if that dark money gets anywhere. What are they going to claim he's gay or something? Did you hear? Buttigieg is gay. Yeah. Well, you think that'll affect him? Yeah, so you're wasting your time. I've already established myself here, and you're not going to be able to uproot me from the world audience that watches our show every night because they like views from around the world. They like to be razzled and dazzled. Kind of like Jeffrey Epstein with all those politicians that had sex with underage minors at his little St. James Island. Yeah, look at that retreat that he had. You know, Disney used to stop off at the island with some of the cruise lines. I wonder what that was about. Yeah. Look at that. Air traffic controllers of the Virgin Islands saw Epstein leaving his private plane in 2018 with young-looking girls, as young as 11. Pretty weird. And this guy got away with it. He's still alive. Yeah, he was seen not too long ago. Yeah, 20 days after he allegedly died, he was seen by drone. And that footage is still out there. I checked it the other day. Yeah, nice. Hey, so we have very cool things in our country. We got the Medicaid for All plan. And the good thing is it's not going to cost taxpayers $1. Yeah. We already have it in place. So we will get the price of health care under control, like I said earlier. That's right. We talked about the mobile medical units, getting the entire system to pay for itself, right? Did I mention we're going to legalize marijuana and we'll sell legal marijuana out of the back of every mobile medical unit in America? Yeah, that's the big plan. And it'll be a lot more affordable for people, than you could imagine. Like right now in the state of Washington, we pay probably $100 an ounce for decent, fairly good marijuana. You can imagine what an eighth would cost at that rate. Like $15-20 for 3.5 grams. And you'd be able to ultimately use it as a self-medication, and it does increase your appetite in case you're on anti-cancer medication or something. Yeah, weed for health. It's considered beneficial. The THC and CBD in combination have shrunk brain tumors clinically. They've seen this in scientific studies done in Madrid in 2011 and another one done in 2014 in Denmark. Yeah, shrinking brain cell cancer. That's what it's been positive in that result. So we've also seen positive results from cannabis in the treatment of Parkinson's, epilepsy, even incidences where any brain problems occur. Apparently the CBD oil is very good for the brain. Yeah. So we have that going for us. Did I want to scare all of you about cybernetics and the future of robocops? We'll do that tomorrow night. Yeah, we'll have that session of cybernetic fear-mongering tomorrow night. You would be absorbed by the Borg. But tonight we'll just talk about, legalizing marijuana and composting, stuff like that. Okay? So, yeah, pro-legalization, pro-hempoline, that gets us back on the road. A lot of the mobile medical units could veritably run on hempoline. Yeah, the biofuel generators constantly running. It could be Tech Fear Thursday, yeah. It would be good. Gassy Bell. You lasted a long time. You're doing very well. We have a lot of trolls in training, I call them. People that are learning how to communicate normally. And some of you just don't learn. You know, like Mad Dog, I have to keep training him to properly address the room. But he's making progress. But tech and fear will be kind of combined. I think Tech Fear Thursday might be the way to go. You're right. Because the more technological we're getting, it's not getting better. It's getting worse. But legalizing marijuana across the nation is a big plan to generate jobs. We're expecting a huge revenue burst, profit centers growing, people selling medicinal edibles, derivatives, anything that anybody can smoke or vape will be part of the big growth of American economy. And there's nothing to worry about it. People who are getting high, they're not that dangerous. It's not like reefer madness where they try to scare you into thinking it was bad for you. It's actually really good for you. And there's no reason why we would put marijuana on the list of controlled substances. We would automatically remove it from that because it's medicinal. Nothing on the list of controlled substances should be medicinal by law. And it is medicinal, so it shouldn't be on the list of controlled substances. Isn't that right, cannabinoid Floyd? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Putin's tactics and his parliament resignation. The resignation of Medvedev from the parliament, which many people believe is making room for him to do the same thing he did last time. Take over the parliament position as prime minister and give the other position to Medvedev. Bouncing back and forth, evading any laws of the end of his term limit, which will be 2024. So I think you're right. You're onto something. The fact that he's got tactics. But I don't think Putin is leaving anytime soon. The way he fearmongers in his own country and threatens the world with dangerous weapons puts him in a class all his own. The Russian people, I'm sure, have no idea what really goes on behind the scenes with Russian oligarchs. Many of them know it's the mob, and they say, oh, you know, it is the mob. What is the Russian word for mob? What happened? You're beyond pissed tonight? Is that because your wife split and took you the kids? I'm so sorry. Calm down, man. That's not an answer to your problems, okay? Let us go to the Google Translate, find out what it means to maybe make a word like a mob, okay? Let's find out what Russian says for mob, okay? Yeah, niet. Niet? We could do this in Serbian, Russian, Croatian. How do you want to do it? We'll do Russian. Okay. Mob.
Chern.
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 Chern. Chern. Yes, chern. Yes, and Russian mob would be
Русская толпа.
I can't even pronounce that. Well, let's not go there, okay? Just ask Donald Trump about the Russian mob. He'll tell you all about it. That was my partial rim shot. Yeah, we scared away the Trump-tards tonight. They won't be calling up, fearful that they'd get into an argument with me. I'm kind of nice, basically a nice guy, but when it comes to dealing with Trump-tards and their constant defense of Trump, saying it's all a hoax, is not helping. Without addressing any one of the specific charges, the Republicans have failed to provide an answer to all of the allegations that are being thrown at them. That's good coffee. I'm drinking some natural organic coffee tonight. I'm trying to keep my coffee level diluted so I don't get too diluted myself. Whoa, dude. Yeah, maybe we'll have Elon Musk hang out at some of the mobile medical units smoking J's. Hey, Elon, you want to go to the mobile medical unit and hang out and smoke a J? Yeah, under the Trump administration, asbestos has become legal again. Are you serious? Dead baby fetus. I'm not expecting to be Phil Collins. I'm not short and, really rich. But he is. I'm 6'4". I'm the same size as our former president. You don't remember him. This was designed at the factory. The line is actually concurrent with the diodes that are placed, the positive and negative lead. Yes. You didn't realize I have a third eye potential? Yes, I do. It's shaped like the Earth. Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't supposed to see the true picture of the Earth. Yeah, my third eye will be right here. Hello, welcome to the show. I have more intellectual ability than Greta Thunberg. I'd like to talk about the future. You just read that last night? Wow, thanks for telling me. All right. The oligarchy, correct. So 804 has not piped back. He's just so pissed he can't talk about it. Well, just stew and mellow out. Remember, you've got to be on extra nice footing with your wife. I talk to guys all the time about how they have problems with their girlfriends, their wives, And they keep saying, man, she doesn't know what the hell's going on, blah, blah, blah. She's just this, she's just that. Dude, don't you realize that you have to be always wrong in the relationship? You haven't figured that out yet? If you haven't figured out that you have to at least allow her to be right, that's the most important thing. Remember, what matters to her matters to you. You want to make her happy, right? She wants to be right. Think about it. Yes, the Russians smoke cheap weed, nothing like you Americans from Northern California. Many people don't realize that Arnold Schwarzenegger endorses marijuana. I was quite shocked myself. Look, this, Mr. California. That is not a drug, it's a leaf. Yeah. He was the governor of California. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, he was the guy. So even he endorses this, okay, pal? Thank you. And Arnold, I want to say is that you are looking very handsome lately. Yeah. I am not being considered for the Terminator part to replace Arnold because he is much older than me, but I am open to the possibility that I might be turned into the Terminator someday. And that would be a great day for me. David Spanheim. Get to the chopper. Hasta la vista, baby. Trump said the World Trade Towers may not have burned if they had completed building them with asbestos. That's what I'm saying about Trump. Somebody said, Dave, did you see that video about Trump when he talked about how, the whole explosion thing happened and, the Trump Towers went down with the explosions? Trump endorsed the Panama Papers, which clearly said that Saudi Arabia was responsible, which is exactly what the 9/11 Commission report said. So in no way is Trump backing up any 9/11 truthers. So you people who are clinging to the idea that Donald Trump is stopping the deep state, wow, you really are lost. Let's put some, let's not make this bare bones. Let's make this pretty. Let's put a different kind of a funny, like a cool thing like that. There you go. Can you say Medicaid for all? We're going to play something very special. We're going to learn how to save our money and not have people like the Democrats waste it incessantly. I believe that we can get decent medical health care for people at a low cost, unlike the Democrats who want to charge so much. Medicaid for all could be a really cool thing for Americans. Well, we already have it. It's already in existence, so consider it a done deal. We don't have to worry about Medicare for all. We've got Medicaid for all, and it covers everything. If you'll have a problem with a mobile medical unit, you can't pay the $30 copay, we'll give you a free ride. We'll cover your $30. And that'll get you a basic diet plan, too, with a small blood test. Isn't that special? Medicaid for cats, no, there won't be any freebies for cats. They have to live by God's rule. When the God takes their life, it is meant to be. If you have extra money, you can always afford a good veterinarian. Take care of your kitty cat. I've been doing a lot of self-medication for my cat. She self-medicates every night with a little CBD oil. She loves it. It makes her appetite grow, so she actually wants more food, and she's the one that decided she wanted wet food most of the time. We still leave dry food out for her, but catnip is not good for a cat that's 17 years old. I won't even get that near her. I don't want her to have any heart problems. Catnip would trigger arrhythmia, I would think. It's like a drug for the cat. But CBD actually has no THC in it, so... And I don't even know if the cat would get high if she did consume a liquid THC. I would never do that. Of course, if you don't burn it, it doesn't react with the body. But if it's natural, unburned or unheated, it's absolutely not toxic at all. Some people even use it for childhood epilepsy. It's shown to see there's some promise there with all of the medicinal cannabis that's out there. Okay. I think we've established the story that we wanted to talk about so far, and I think we're good there. I'm going to go back into the news and pull up anything I can. We talked about the strange appearance of drones over Nebraska earlier in the show. And I showed you this image of what appears to be a ball of lightning. Great balls of lightning. And we're wondering if these are orbs. You're making that up. That's a lie. Total lie. And if you are wondering what those orbs are, everyone wants to know. I was playing a video earlier of what appears to be the same types of balls of lightning flying in daytime hours. They're about 5 feet wide, these balls. And here are helicopters flying over what appear to be crop circles. This is from 2000. Many years ago. We're getting hosed right now. They don't want us to show you these orbs. But look at these orbs. Nobody can explain these orbs in the government. And just past couple days, numerous orbs were seen over Nebraska. We bring you up-to-date information about the Nebraska orbs. They're calling them drones. But unexplained mystery drones have been spotted in multiple parts of Nebraska. Now, this is an old picture from 2000 of crop circles, and these orbs were there. But now, they've got similar photographs, unexplained mysteries appearing in the multiple parts of Nebraska. No one knows what these things are, and most of these are nighttime views. There's nothing out there daytime.
And western Nebraska skies for a couple weeks. Now it looks like they're making their way east towards Sarpy County.
Okay, let's start from the beginning here.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Griswold. Unexplained mystery drones have been popping up in Colorado and western Nebraska skies for a couple weeks. Now it looks like they're making their way east towards Sarpy County. Reporter Ruta Olsenida has more on this mystery that not even the Federal Aviation Administration can explain.
There's been multiple reports in Colorado, in western Nebraska, and now it's made its way to Sarpy County. Giant, unexplained drones swarming the night sky.
A Papillion resident reported seeing several drones flying in unison Friday night, like this one in Yuma County, Colorado. This comes as Colorado and now multiple parts of Nebraska have also been dealing with these mystery drones.
Most interesting part is that the drones were flying at night, and the people don't really know what they are doing there, and no feedback from federal agencies, local government, and nobody really knows what's going on there.
Drones are complex and extremely advanced. They can be used for filmmaking, emergency services, agricultural monitoring.
The drone, similar to our computer systems, it can really do a lot of things. To me, the only limitation is your imagination.
But no one knows what these drones are doing except that they're flying in patterns, they're large, and there's many of them.
Did you see those across the sky? So they're moving rapidly. They're not in any way something the government has admitted to. And they're seen not only there, but there's also seen around chemtrails as well. What do you think they are? Any ideas? I think they're balls of electromagnetic energy being manipulated using phased array radar. You can believe whatever you want. The internet is an infinite universe. There is no end to the internet. Like Carl Sagan said, it's an infinite universal internet. Dave, yo, Nancy looking good. You got that image of Nancy? Oh yeah, there she is. Now some people are beginning to believe that Nancy may be a reptilian or something. It looks like she's had a rough day after a long discussion with Charles Schumer as to how to deal with the Republicans. Can you blame her? I mean, years of staying young looking, you definitely get the sleep deprivation when you're in her position. Hey, it's not easy being Nancy. Let's be Nancy for a bit, shall we? I think that everyone should take Xanax and enjoy the night. And me and my husband have spent a lot of time together on international flights. And I wish I had a higher voice. Yeah, she's had a lot of free flights, so that'll do it to your facial construction. She'll get it back up to smooth. You know, give her a couple Botox injections. She'll be just fine. Just fine. She's not gonna quit. She's too effective at being Nancy. Hey, she's the one that made that impeachment happen, even though she said she didn't want to do the impeachment. And she's the one who's now talking about more impeachment articles, even though she said she wasn't going to have any more articles. And so she's all over the place. But she did sign them over, and she had everyone sign a pen today. Everyone got souvenir pens of the impeachment being handed over to the Senate. It was a big photo op for her. Yeah. I've been getting younger every year. I can't explain it. I really can't. I was wondering why Elon Musk was getting older, and I realized, well, because he's smoking pot all the time. Yeah. So I just feel blessed, I guess, that some of us are getting younger, some of us are getting older.
It's exhilarating to do Blog TV. We've been having an incredible time. This is, in fact, day 54. I thought yesterday was day 54, but we did a recount, and we determined that today is day 54 as we approach the election.
So, yeah, I looked a lot better then, yeah. And if only I could bring back the old days when I was so young then. That was 11 years ago. I know. If only I could be as young looking as I was then. Thank you, Zeno. And thank you, Super Saver. You've been great. But you don't belong here. Thank you. You have a problem. Thank you, Gassy Bell. You get to stay. Yeah, we do everything. We broadcast during power outages. It's amazing. We've done shows from all across the country, traveling back and forth. But I've never been to Epstein Island. You know, I've never been to Jamestown, the little St. James Island. I'd like to go there with a crew of construction workers working for the U.S. government under order by me, the president, and where I would dig up the entire island to find anybody that could possibly know more about the dead women that were lost on the island. You see, there's a whole lot of women that went to Epstein's Island, Little St. James, and I mean 13, 14-year-old girls that couldn't get anywhere near returning. They were never on the manifest coming back. So my concern is that we have a situation on our hands. Well, in 2007, there was a reveal of the island itself, and I showed you this the other day. in the video, they actually had cameras of Epstein's entire mansion, and they had a picture of this in the FBI file. It was later brought out and posted on the internet. The strange thing about it is it's got a picture in there of what appear to be a bunch of girls sitting down on buckets. Could be boys, I don't know. It looks like girls, but they look like they're on buckets. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, 9 girls, and there's also pictures in the background of what appear to be penises. You see that picture in the background? Let me highlight it for you. Now this is forensic evidence that was presented by the FBI in 2007. And and I'm concerned that this is being covered up by our own government. Suffice to say, this would be the telltale evidence to go ahead and get a search warrant and get skip loaders out there and cadaver dogs. And the missing girls on the manifest list coming back from Epstein's Little St. James Island is extremely disturbing. The possibility that this is a cover-up of what appeared to be a murder site and the government's involved by not investigating this. This is a very, very sad time for our country to overlook such an important issue. Regardless of whether the penis was up or down, that's irrelevant. Of course, I would never accept a massage from a 16-year-old girl. My goodness. I was never on an island, no. But you can't come in here and make false allegations of anything like that. As I talk about Epstein, I'm making allegations about Epstein. You're coming in here making allegations about me that are unfounded. Well, if I was 15 years old and I met a 16-year-old that wanted to give me a massage, yeah, if I was 15. But those days have already gone. I'm no longer 15 years old. I had to ban them. No, I ban all those people. They don't belong here. I was never on the island, no. You're concocting a false story. Instead of looking up what's really going on the island, contact Bill Gates. He knows what happened in the island. He's been on the island many times. Yeah, get Bill Gates on the speed dial. Hit the speed dial button. Hello, Bill. Hi. Yes, is that you? Oh, it's not you? Okay. Well, I can't call you then. Yeah, I can't talk to the guy. I don't know his number. Always on the edge, yeah. So, do you have anything else you want to talk about, Epstein? We got a lot of time to waste. Wasteful Wednesday, wasteful reductions in the government. Cutting the budget. What about the F-35? Do you think we could scrub the $35 billion we spend on the F-35 every year? I think we could maybe trim it by 20 billion. I think we could pull 20 billion off the F-35 project. And I think we could turn the F-35 project into an unmanned aerial bomber. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. Think about that. We wouldn't even have to hire a pilot. And these F-35s could easily carry a large payload if they're retrofitted properly. Yeah, we could stack the wings and any electronics areas in the F-35 with just missiles. And we could put a very complicated navigation system that would be cutting-edge, state-of-the-art technology in the front cockpit. Well, hot air balloons are sitting ducks when it comes to war. Now, I'm not a big war guy, but I want to have a strong defense. As you know, F-35s are potentially a problem in that they don't still have a gunnery system. We're still waiting for the past 17 years for the gunnery system to be developed. And we are thinking, well, maybe the entire system should be, sent over to a new team of coding experts. That's an idea. You know, the problem with the F-35 was the guys that originally worked on it are so old they don't even know how to code anymore. And they're coding in BASIC or whatever. So having a brand new team work on the F-35 and develop a gunner and also a system that would auto-navigate. We don't need pilots in these things. So what about automating them and reducing the cost to our national military and then getting the Lockheed Martin company to work with us on developing a strategy that would provide the type of long-term solutions that they would be benefiting from? I don't want to cut off the military-industrial complex. I'd rather throw $20 billion to Lockheed on unmanned aerial vehicles. We just dumped $1 billion into Raytheon, and our new Secretary of Defense, Esper, got the job. We don't know what happened there. Was there like a payback? We don't even know. But Esper got the job as the rotating acting Secretary of Defense now, and he's the guy that handled the Raytheon project, $1 billion. So I'd rather throw more money at companies that make smaller, more dangerous, lethal, and defensive utility purposes, like unmanned aerial defense drones. The drone missile defense system would make sense. It'd be a savings of money, too. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing. Next. This was a story that I just couldn't believe when I first heard it. Donald Trump brags about serving up American troops to Saudi Arabia for nothing more than cash. His interview with Fox News' Laura Ingraham on Friday, the president spoke about his positive relationship with Saudi Arabia and how he's paying Saudi Arabia for U.S. troops, or rather Saudi Arabia was paying America for U.S. troops. And Justin Amash, the independent from Michigan, who recently was a Republican, responded to Trump's remarks saying he sells troops. Yeah, the F-35 is just not the best in the fleet. The F-35 actually potentially has a problem competing on 2 stress tests with the F-16. Ironically, the F-16 beat it in 2 stress tests, military combat air battles tests that the government ran it against. So the F-35's got all kinds of great features, don't get me wrong. But it might be better used as more of a defensive end bomber, in my opinion. Okay, you can't tell me what to do here. That's a bannable offense. Good night. Don't come back, please. Let's listen in. Laura? We're waiting.
We're sending more to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is paying us for it. We're doing something that nobody's ever done. I said to Saudi Arabia, we have a very good relationship with Saudi Arabia. I said, listen, you're a very rich country. You want more troops? I'm going to send them to you, but you've got to pay us. They're paying us. They've already deposited $1 billion in the bank. We are going to help them, but these rich countries have to pay for it. South Korea gave us $500 million. They never gave us that. They gave us $500 million. I said, you got to help us along. We have 32,000 soldiers in South Korea protecting you from North Korea. You've got to pay. And they gave us $500 million.
Could we see that, the receipt on that? Are you sure that didn't go into your bank account? I'd like to see the receipts on that money. I really would. Has anybody seen any forensic proof that Saudi Arabia gave us $1 billion? I looked into the budget, and I'm going to go there right now. It should be pretty easy to look at the monthly Treasury report. Yeah. Let's go there right now and just check it out. We should be able to see the $1 billion in the military budget, I would think. Yeah, let's take a look. Donald doesn't look at the Treasury statement. It's kind of like the Constitution. It's like a foreign language to him. He wouldn't want to read the actual numbers of dollars that he's wasting every day. Most recent file has been updated. Now that took me. Oh, wait, this is the current one. Yeah. Okay. Please don't talk about that young man who was homosexual, married to, Barack Obama. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. You know Michael Obama? Yeah. Let's not discuss him, okay? We're going to see if Trump got the $1 billion from Saudi Arabia or not. Here we go. Checking to see it. I wish there was a place I could look for the money directly. Where's the money from? So look at all the outlays. The outlays are the green fingers, the dark green fingers here. Let me get ahead of this. Excuse me. Now see here. See these green fingers here? Now see that? Those are your tax dollars leaving your pocket. You hear that sucking sound? Now those are your tax dollars. And they're spending more than your tax dollars. Yeah. Oh, there's a fake fog brewing over Long Beach, California. Excuse me. Look at that. More green fingers. The dark ones are the ones we spend money, and the light ones are the ones we get money. I don't see any money coming in here. State corporate income taxes. No military. No military money here. Social income, retirement, corporate income taxes, custom duties, excise, nothing. Maybe it's in the miscellaneous area. Military sales of weapons. Yeah, I'm looking. Hold on, please. We'll get it bigger. We can control the vertical and the horizontal. 2019 receipts, summaries. Oh yeah. I got to look at the specifics here. The devil is in the details. Yeah, this is excessive amounts of information. Department of Agriculture, Department of Defense, military programs, $59 billion in 1 month alone. $59 billion in 1 month alone. Yeah. So well, I don't know if we have a black budget. I'd have to be in the president's seat right now, and I'd have to call the Treasury Department and get Steve Mnuchin on the phone and go, "Hello, Steve. I have a very important question for you. Could I take a look at the Exchange Stabilization Fund? David Spanheim was just talking about it online, and I think the president should be able to see that. Steve, could I see this Exchange Stabilization Fund? You won't let me? You have to have Vladimir Putin approve of it? Okay, I'll call Vladimir on the phone and see if I can have him approve of it." Donald Trump wouldn't find the Exchange Stabilization Fund if he had, both hands on his ass and, toilet paper ready. We need to look at that Exchange Stabilization Fund. A president can look at it. But that's about the only person in government who can look at it. That's where your black budget money is. Hidden camera investigation, locksmith, rip-offs. Really? That looks good. Thank you. I'll play it tonight in our show. Got the fake fog story too. Looking over Long Beach. Let's look at that. Hold, please.
January 14th, about 1:30 in the afternoon, I'm over at Long Beach again from Signal Hill, watching one of these sprayers, watching one of many of them, do this to the city, guys. Look at the city below. Look at this. Long Beach once again. If you've seen my videos before, it should be pretty familiar to you. Damn, it's cold up here. Look at this. They completely fogged in the city once again. Let me go back. Sorry. Give you a whiplash there.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Wow, look at that smog.
It's the same every time I show it to you guys. I've had 1 or 2 days where it was actually clear, but mostly, no.
No. Fake fog.
This is one heck of a crime to pull off, guys. You know, doing all this, putting people in this fog here, but yet most people don't even know. Wow. That is just hard to comprehend, actually. Let me see what it's like the rest of the way out here. Hold on. Look at all this. Yeah, this is the air we're breathing out here. Great, huh?
Great, yeah.
Out that direction is downtown Los Angeles, which you can't see, of course, but it's out there. Anyway, just wanted to show you again, once again, what's going on here. This is bad, guys.
Yeah.
Not good at all. So take care.
You know, Scissor Fight found a photograph above his house where one of those orbs were flying in the scene, and he sent it to a top internet guy who deals with these subjects, and the guy put it right on his show. I don't have that image in front of me, Scissor Fight, but if you happen to have a link to that, I certainly would take that and mention that. There was an orb in that picture, the chemtrail picture. Now, coming up tonight, we've got an abandoned house. Family sold the business and left the house behind. People go through old items and show you how much old stuff is out there still sitting in abandoned houses. It's pretty interesting. So we got that. But there's a lot to be concerned about when the guy doesn't even call it smog. I mean, I don't understand. Do people even use the word smog anymore in California? Yeah, you don't have to worry about it if you can't find it, but it's a good one. And you found it above your house, and you were taking pictures of chemtrails, and you spotted this orb above your house. It's amazing. They're in a lot of chemtrail photographs. They are. But, yeah, this is clearly smog that's being generated by weather modification. They're dropping aluminum and barium in the skies of California to dehydrate it. This is a common method they use to dehydrate the air as part of weather modification. And those of you who are still clinging to the idea that climate change is happening, it's all because we buy. It was following the plane. Interesting. Wow. If you think climate change is happening because your car is polluting, your car is almost zero emissions. No matter what you drive in America at this point, except for the old clunkers, most of your cars are practically zero emissions. So I think many people are under the impression their cars are the big polluters. The big polluters on this planet are industrial polluters. There's about 16 major cargo ships that ship things back and forth across the ocean that are really big polluters. There are refineries that are big polluters. So there are areas we can stop, cap, and clean. We can actually get energy from the smokestacks of a lot of these vehicles, like cargo ships. We could generate energy from it. Yeah, there's no reason to think that we can't start recycling that carbon and looping that carbon. The government has abandoned the idea. Instead, they've come up with the idea of dumping it on your head instead with weather modification. It's ludicrous to think they're going to be able to clean the air by dumping more chemicals in it. That's essentially what they're saying. And here's a video about an antique kitchen somebody found in a 1760 abandoned house. This is beyond belief. It was originally made in 1760 and was abandoned in 1925 or something. So we'll take a look at that tonight. That's amazing. Wow. There's some old furniture in there too. Very cool. Old GE logos. Thanks for those links, Scissor Fight. Appreciate it. Yeah, your car is, maybe you're driving a clunker, that's polluting. But most modern cars with catalytic converters are pretty clean. So the Democrats think that they've got us all buffaloed into believing that they've got the only answers to the problems of the world. Yeah, that they're the only ones with the big solution. And they've got these airheads that babble who have no clue as to what's really going on. They would never mention chemtrails. God forbid they tell the truth.
What do I do? I can't.
If I play it long enough, you eventually get a laugh out of it, but I don't know. Not many people are laughing yet. Okay, so back in the old days, we used to have a thing called smog. I gotta tell you, back in the old days in California, when I was a kid, we had smog. Believe it or not, the government pulled lead out of gasoline in the early 80s and solved the massive smog problem in Los Angeles, California, the city. Yes. Pollutants are just one of the causes of cancer. It could be genetic as well. We don't really know the answer either way, nature or nurture. But we probably have a lot more information that they're not telling people, that they should be telling people. Anyway, smog was a bad thing. Now we've got chemtrails and fake fog. I mean, it gets worse. We need to start fixing this problem, folks. It can't be done anytime soon. So I have installed my third eye to give us higher, more powerful knowledge during the night. If you have any questions and would like to consult my third eye, shaped like the Earth, feel free to ask it. Any questions you want. You didn't know this was the shape of the Earth. Okay. It's kind of a sphere. It's lumpy. But it's not exactly what you think. It's kind of like that, but lumpy. Okay, here comes the story from the Project Veritas as they interviewed some wild field organizer. He said there's a reason Joseph Stalin had gulags, right? And actually gulags were a lot better than what the CIA has told us. Really? Huh. Let's see if that video exists here.
Do you even think that some of these, like, MAGA people could even be re-educated?
I mean, we gotta try. I mean, in Nazi Germany, after the fall of the Nazi Party, there was a shit ton of the populace that was f***ing Nazified. I mean, like, Germany had to spend billions of dollars re-educating f***ing people to not be Nazis. Like, we're probably going to have to do the same thing here. And that's kind of what...
They're going to have to teach people to not be a Nazi. Well, yeah, I'll play more of that later, but yeah, they got the goods on Bernie Sanders' organizer there, Kyle Jurek. These socialists, they have one agenda, that's control. And these Republicans, one agenda, that's money. They love money. Don't you retardicans love money? You want to be like Trump, don't you? A wannabe rich guy. Yeah, that's the big appeal of Trump. You want to all be rich like Trump. You think he's rich. He's not. He doesn't have any real money. He's just kind of a joke. Donald Trump claimed he had $10 billion in the election 2016. He only has 3.1 if you look at all his assets. Look it up. Go ahead and look it up. I dare you. And let's not forget, he is headed toward impeachment. He's already been impeached in the House, and he could be kicked out if they get enough votes in the Senate. He attacks witnesses, credible witnesses that said he did a quid pro quo. He won't release witnesses for a discussion like Donald McGahn, who admitted that Donald Trump tried to fire Mueller 5 times, which is obstruction of justice, but Trump doesn't want him to testify. That's obstruction of Congress. Yeah, and he never made any tapes of Putin and himself. You know, he's been under investigation for 3 years or more, and not one time did he make a conversation tape showing transparency. He's hidden all of his information. And we know he won't present his IRS tax returns He's proven that, yet he said he would. Yeah, lots of things make Donald Trump seem very guilty. And he is controlled by the deep state. They own him. Believe it or not, that's why he hasn't prosecuted anybody in the deep state. So if you retardicans think that he's somehow stopping the deep state, you've got to be out of your mind. He won't even prosecute Hillary Clinton. He won't even prosecute Elizabeth Warren for lying about her Cherokee ancestry. Oh, we've got good homegrown turmeric. That's why my third eye grew. You're right. Yeah, good point. So as much as we like Donald Trump to stop the deep state, he endorses the 5G network. I mean, come on. Without any human testing, this guy is out to lunch. Donald Trump seems to endorse chemtrails. We've got photographs of him looking at chemtrails canisters, as they're condensed inside of the vehicles themselves. Canisters of compressed chemtrails are being put in airplanes. I'll show you some pictures of them. But yeah, you need to really see this to believe it. Chemtrails over waters. Yes, indeedy. Let's get it up there. Chemtrails. Here he is, Trump riding in the chemtrail plane. Yeah, these are the kind of canisters they hook up to a local area network and deliver compressed chemicals like selenium, barium, aluminum, silver iodide. These chemicals are delivered into your air. Here's a geoengineering has a picture of chemtrails over California, Point Reyes. Look at that. That's a real picture, folks. They create the droughts in California by dumping these chemicals over the air. Now, Donald Trump not only endorses this, he won't talk about it. He won't say, oh, we're doing it. Oh, we're already spraying these things and I'm dumping chemicals on your head. Because he can't. Because he's part of the deep state. They own him. That's the smog generated from the planes, yes. We have many pictures. If you'd like to see the nozzles on some of the planes that deliver these chemtrails, we got that too. Here's an Air Canada plane with a chemtrail nozzle retrofitted in the back of it. You can see the nozzle right there up close. So it goes out where the jet goes out, it releases the chemical on your head. You're being sprayed like insects. But that's really just the tip of the iceberg. We got all kinds of pictures. Look at these. Here's these canisters and these planes. And a lot of people have exposed this already, but the mainstream media will not cover this story. Chemies in the night, do. And they have people flying in these planes, just like Donald Trump taking a tour of the chemtrail plane. They look like kegs of beer, yeah, but they're actually compressed chemicals. You don't believe the chemtrail story? You're a fool. You need to wake up. You should trust everything I tell you because I'm not lying and I wouldn't make that up. And I can tell you I've got one of the strongest minds in this world. I'm an incredibly powerful, logical thinker. And I wouldn't just jump on the chemtrail subject because I think, gee, I want to scare you. I'm taking a risk just talking about it. Look at that. They're so proud of their life as chemtrail pilots. They got themselves their sunglasses on that you don't know who they are. They could be anybody, And they're laughing at you. Look at this. Look at the patch on here. Yeah. Team Chemtrail, everybody. They're spraying it on your face. Yeah. And they're laughing at you. And you don't believe they're spraying you. God, you're such an idiot. Wake up, dude. You think I've been talking about these for the past 4 or 5 years? I've been heavily talking about chemtrails. But I've been discussing them for 7 years, if not longer. You don't plug the exhaust of the plane. You send a chemical out through another canister. All these things are on timers. They're released to drop chemicals over your entire world. Salute to the flag, everybody. This is your new flag. You're an idiot for coming in here doing that. I'm not faking myself. I'm real. I'm the real Dave. Yeah, look at that. It's amazing. Salute to the flag, everybody. Your new flag will be heavily doused chemicals in your lungs, which will affect your long-term ability to survive. And guess who's doing that to you? The same people who make those orbs that we were talking about earlier. And the government doesn't know where those orbs are, or what they are, what those drones in Nebraska are. The white stripes are chemtrails, that's correct. Caught on camera, World Health Organization scientists question the safety of vaccines. That looks good, don't worry, be happy. Thank you for that link. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, the Democrats keep pushing vaccines. Another reason to leave the Democratic Party. No one wants to be forced vaccinated. So if you're ready to leave the Democratic Party and you're ready to leave the Republican Party, welcome to America's third party. Thank you. Thanks for come on in. This looks good. I'll put it in our show tonight. And I'll also add it to my vaccine section. I've got a vaccine section down here somewhere. There it is. You know, my vaccine section has all these deleted videos. It's unbelievable. The government does not want anyone to actually watch anything about vaccines. It's on the list, yeah. No, I've got, your numbers are off. I'm closer to 39% polling. Right now, if we can get all the people that don't vote to vote for me and write my name in, David Sponheim, I could veritably beat both parties. There are 55% of our country, more than half, do not vote because they don't believe in the process. 45% of our country votes. And if I could get 55% that don't vote to vote for me, I will beat the Democrats and the Republicans. Guaranteed. No, I don't think that's a good idea. Not a contrail, it's a chemtrail. That's right. But if you ask Joe Biden what it is, he'll answer. Joe, what is that?
I can't talk. What do I do? I can't talk. What do I do? I can't talk. What do I do? I can't talk. What do I do?
Thank you. You don't know what to do. I don't know what to do for you. Thank you. Hey, my dogs don't cry, just made an announcement. For your information, he has a diabetic nerve pain, like neuropathy, and he can't feel everything in his feet due to years of drinking soda. It's common among people who are heading toward diabetes. So he said, don't drink it, folks. I urge you to avoid sugar water and soda. Because what happened to my dogs don't cry is not fun, what he's going through. Now, there are things you have to do to take care of yourself. And there's diabetic foot cream that you have to apply, making sure you don't have any dangerous sores on your feet. Because you could lose circulation in your feet and it could really be dangerous to you. So you always have to be careful with your feet. I'd get a foot fixer and soak them in hot water at night, if I were you. Helps with the circulation too. Yeah, well, the years of fluoridation, nobody's got a perfect diet. No matter how much we try to eat right. In our society, in our world, our environment is so polluted that it's almost unbelievable that we could even survive. But when they stick more chemicals in the air through weather modification, and then they call it climate change, and then they have these girls, little girls that come out like Greta Thunberg and act like we should all care because it's our fault somehow, you know they're playing a big scam over the American people. She actually believes that the banks will save the world. Beyond belief. It's beyond belief what a shill she is.
The money is there if we can save the banks. The money is there if we can save it is the money is there if we can save the banks, then we can save the world.
Yeah, Greta, I'm sorry to say, but it's highly unlikely they're going to save the world, young lady. Yeah. The banks don't care about us. Well, let's be clear. Look at that mic intercept. Robert Downey Jr. and Joe Rogan. Could you make Tropic Thunder today? Tropic Thunder today. I don't know.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Do you think that you could do Tropic Thunder today? Would that be possible?
We did buy a microwave. Sarah sometimes uses it to heat up the cat food. The cat won't eat food that's not warm. Yeah, she's an old cat. Could you make Tropic Thunder today with Robert Downey Jr., Joe Rogan? Sure, I'll play it, but I doubt they talk about chemtrails. Oh, Tropic Thunder today with blackface. Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought he was talking about chemtrails. Yeah, we'll play that video for you. If he talks about blackface, that's fine. Because anybody who claims that blackface is a racist themselves. Well, cat food in the microwave is better than cat food outside of the microwave. Cat won't eat cold, ice cold cat food, dude. Well, the cat only lives, what, 20 years? She's 17 now. I don't mind using the microwave and I put it on like defrost. I'm not going to let my cat starve. You're an ass for even coming in here. My goodness, what's wrong with you? I can't believe somebody just told me I need to let the cat starve. That's sick. Yeah, the North American diet is loaded with sugar and salt. No, I do leave the food in the dish when the cat gets hungry. She'll eat it, yeah. But we also have a cat that is on CBD oil and is eating more because of it. Why is Amber so fickle about food temperature? It has something to do with the fact that the gravy in the cat food smells so much better when it's warm. It enhances the smell. I mean, it smells good. You'd probably like the smell of it. Would you like some cat food and just try to get... You know, a lot of old people live on cat food. That's all they can afford. Yeah, the cat is on CBD oil. The pet stores in our area offer this, and we just give her a little CBD oil in her food. It really helps. Helps her with arthritis and feline Parkinson's. It's amazing.
Hey.
Metal detecting on a huge
I
farm.
finally got all my stuff together. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
All right, my old buddy Jim. Now I say old, not as in ancient, but as in we've been friends for a long time, and I are back at it again today.
This guy has over 1 million subscribers. He's called Aqua Chigger, and people love going to his show because he does metal detecting and he picks up old Civil War stuff in the ground. David, do you reward your cat for crapping and vomiting on your bed? Yes, we do. We try to give her a little, extra food for that. Here it is. Oh, you found it. Great. Thank you. Scissorfied, appreciate it. Okay, third phase of the moon put together a video he got from Scissorfied. I'll play the whole thing for you. You can watch this. And Scissorfied was tracking a plane in the sky with chemtrails, and he spotted this. Real weird orb activity. Okay, he's looking at this right here.
2018, we have Scissorfight, who captured something extraordinary over Orange County, California. Take a look at this. Is this some kind of geoengineering chemtrail along with this fast-tracking UFO? We're going to play it right now.
looking at this right now. Look at that object above it. Isn't that interesting? It's flying right above it. It's not a plane at all. Yeah, you're closing in on it right there. It's almost like it's rotating, you know. It seems to be cavitating in the air. That's a very interesting video. Here it is, folks, if you want to check it out yourself. All right, we've got a few problems with some of the people in our show tonight. Excuse the bad chatting coming out of the same guy who keeps popping in with different usernames. Mark Meadows, GOP will appeal to surveillance court over choices to oversee FBI reforms. Okay. He plans to appeal to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, FISC, over its choice to oversee FBI surveillance reforms in the wake of damning Inspector General's report regarding the wiretapping of Carter Page. You know, I think this is kind of a kicking a dead horse. Well, the fact is the FBI had a legitimate FISA warrant when they initially started revealing this, what was going on. Carter Page was caught in a sting operation that the FBI was engaged in. They were overseeing Russian involvement in our elections. And Carter Page actually was warned by the FBI after they found out he was trying to contact the Russians. He was warned by the FBI not to engage because the Russians were recruiting top Republican advisors and politicians. Yeah. But he wanted to go see the Russians anyway. That's the true story. Anything else after the fact is irrelevant. I really don't know what's wrong with the GOP other than the fact that they just can't accept the fact that Donald Trump is corrupt and working for Russia. It's amazing to me how the GOP refuses to admit the fact that Donald Trump is working for Vladimir Putin. It's amazing to me. So much so that we even dedicated a room to the entire thing. Yeah, the war room, I'll call it. This is where we analyze Donald Trump's involvement and how it's affected our country and Russia. Well, for one, Donald Trump is still holding back the IRS tax returns, which reveals he's very guilty of something. He's very, very worried about those getting out. We see that. And he has no recorded broadcasts or communications with Putin at all. Need I remind you that he invited two of the top Russian diplomats to the White House the day he fired James Comey? And he told Lester Holt he was really happy to end the Russian investigation? I'm serious. We never got that tape from Russia, too. Video cameras were in there rolling, and we never saw the tape of Donald Trump and what he said to the diplomats. That's still hidden from the American people. Anyway, he didn't impose Russian sanctions for nearly 2 years, and hasn't imposed many at all, which helps Russia. He disrespected NATO, which is Russia's greatest enemy and our ally, which helps Russia by disrespecting NATO. He kept $400 million away from the Ukrainian government to build up their defenses against Russia, which helped Russia. And that's what's gone to the impeachment now, that issue. We'll see what the Senate decides. He destabilized Venezuela by turning a blind eye to their government and Maduro. Instead of working out some sort of a trade agreement, he just blindsided them with installing some alternate leader in that area, which led to Venezuela wanting a base and working with Russia. Venezuela is talking about putting a high-speed hypersonic base there for Russia that would ultimately strike us within maybe 3 to 5 minutes. That's not something we want. That helped Russia. He left Syria to Russia. Russia took care of Syria. They acquired an air base we created. His policy in Syria was bizarre, leaving the Kurds with no defenses. And then he started a war with Iran recently by the attack on Soleimani. That's a serious thing. And we found out recently that he had 7 months he could have done that in, but he's doing it right now to somehow divert our attention from the impeachment process, we think. Yeah, so, and that led to the price of oil going up recently, and as it goes up,
Hello,
Russia
everyone.
benefits. Russia also benefits from Iran thinking that we're a threat to them, ordering more S-400 missile systems. And you know that Russia is now, because of what Donald Trump did, Russia is now actually trying to sell S-300s to Iraq, undermining our position there. And let's not forget, he started a Chinese trade war because of his sanctions against Iran. And raising tariffs on China has helped Russia because it's hurt their economy and it's hurt our economy. Now, him signing a trade deal today did not in any way change the tariffs that we both have against each other. No progress there. So the farmers, the manufacturers in this country will not face any benefits from Donald Trump's trade agreement today. So all of these factors really make you wonder, if Donald Trump is doing all of this for Russia and all of it hurts America, how can the Republicans possibly think that he's not helping Russia? Makes no sense. Ludicrous. Max Egan has become a notorious shill, claiming the Christchurch video was real. I'll be playing that tonight. And anybody who wants to talk about that wouldn't be able to see it on YouTube anyway, so you got to catch our live show. We won't play this type of video on YouTube because YouTube will not only censor us, will charge us with a strike. We cannot deny the official narrative of the mainstream media. If we do, they see it as hate speech. So if you do want to catch these videos, we will have them later tonight on our show. In fact, not too far from now, 9 minutes away, we'll play that video. So Max Egan is starting to behave like a very strange person. We have a video or picture of him. This is a guy who's made a lot of money on YouTube and has a large following. But look what they found on this one. This guy's got a swastika on his hand. What's going on with that? Somebody painted, or he painted a swastika or a tattoo on his hand of a swastika. It looks like a magic marker to me. But I don't know what's going on with this guy. It's pretty weird. Okay, the Rocky Johnson, just to follow up, the father of The Rock has passed away at the age of 75 years old. This man next to me here, it was an amazing boxer and then later World War or WWF wrestler. Thank you. You're long on futures. Good for you. Anyway, The Rock lost his dad, 75 years old. Pretty sad. But the guy was a monster of a man in terms of his strength. He did things on stage that very few people can. Oh, you can see the swastika on his hand? You think it's a tattoo, Scissor Fight? Okay, we'll look at the video in just a bit. We'll see that swastika on his hand. Anyway, sorry for his loss, The Rock. Very sad. My father died at 77 years old, so I know how it feels to lose your dad at that age. You want him to live longer, but gee, you never can tell. Medvedev is definitely helping Putin. He's leaving as the prime minister, shifting the leadership role to a new position that Putin can claim. The same thing was done about 10 years ago by Putin as a way to avoid the term limits in Russia. Putin's alleged tenure as leader of Russia will last till 2024, and then he's going to make a shift, or even sooner, because he is not leaving power in Russia. Yeah, I think that was a magic marker on his hand. So a study of Jeffrey Epstein is still going on, as you know. They're looking into his involvement with Bill Gates. A new MIT report on Jeffrey Epstein raises questions about how much to blame billionaires like Bill Gates. How complicit was Silicon Valley in this guy's rise to power and his ability to, manipulate people and allegedly use that information against very powerful people? Why did Bill Gates go to Epstein's Little St. James Island all those times? We don't know. Billionaires like Bill Gates, Reid Hoffman were exactly revealing about their ties to Epstein when he was arrested this summer. They didn't say. Many hoped that months in the making, an external report from lawyers hired by MIT would put questions to rest, but when the report was released on Friday, investigators skirted direct answers and statements of fact, and ultimately failed to settle some of the basic questions about Silicon Valley's responsibility for nurturing Epstein. A Gates representative didn't return a request for comment. A Hoffman representative referred to an apology Hoffman issued earlier this year about his interactions with Epstein. Let's start with Gates. The until recently richest man in the world has consistently downplayed his ties to Epstein, telling one reporter, "I didn't have any business relationship or friendship with him." But Gates is among the tech billionaires with the most extensive disclosure ties to Epstein. Whether Epstein and Gates did have a business relationship, have been disputed. Gates did make a $2 million donation to the Media Lab in 2014. And Epstein was credited with securing the Gates money, with internal records saying that Epstein had directed the gift that was made at his instruction, according to Ronan Farrow in The New Yorker. Gates is making this gift at the recommendation of a friend of his who wishes to remain anonymous, the record said. Gates' aides denied Epstein's direction of the gift, but if he did, as Farrow reported he did, it raised the possibility that Gates was somehow complicit in the image rehabilitation of Epstein and a part of the unseemingly cover-up. But MIT investigators did little to help establish truth and fiction in the situation. They wrote a 63-page report and it really didn't give us any details. Interesting. All right, well, maybe Bill Gates will talk about it eventually, if he's asked or probed. If he's probed long enough with the right probing, he'll probably release that information. All right, I think we've covered all the... we didn't find out where the money was that Donald Trump said Saudi Arabia was sending us. I'm still looking for that. Because we saw outlays from the Department of Defense, $59 billion a month. Yeah, that's very serious. These are all in the monthly totals. Let me see if I can get to the specific budget here. Department of Agriculture, Defense, Agriculture, Commerce, Defense. That's funny because in the past month we never got any money in. These are all outlays. So there is no evidence of any money coming in from any source. Yeah, all this is outlays. So it's pretty interesting. I'm going to have to do some more detailed investigations of this, but if Donald Trump said we got $1 billion from Saudi Arabia, I hope somebody in the Department Office of Management and Budget can spot that for us. If you're watching from OMB, please find the $1 billion, because if Trump said we got it, let's hope it didn't go into his private account, okay? That'd be nice. Well, I just took a little loan from the Department of Defense. I was a little short on my monthly payment, and I drew a little money out of the Department of Defense to pay for some of my outstanding loans to Deutsche Bank. Yeah, I'm sure. It's probably definitely in Trump's bank account. Well, people know that he's just a front for an elaborate scam being pulled by, the ultimate group of oligarchs, I guess. Oleg Deripaska, people like that. Yes, definitely. He is a front man for Putin, so if they have any question about whether they control us or not, they don't have any question. We are the ones that don't seem to understand that Donald Trump is run by Putin. Yeah, so we are figuring that out over time. But in the meantime, I am definitely going to move on. One good thing I want to say is so far Hillary hasn't dropped her name in the hat. That's a good thing. But doesn't she look different? Yeah, isn't that funny how there's two Hillarys? I know some of you really like her. So if you liked Hillary, you might like people that look like her. So I want to tell you, what difference at this point does it make? Just kidding. I will see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, really. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Tech Thursday. Hopefully it won't be too fearful because it's turning into Fear Tech Thursday. In the meantime, this is Mr. Wright signing off. Till tomorrow. Take care. Oh, hang out till 1 in the morning with us. Feel free to chat. We're bringing it to you every night. That's right. 3 full hours of video. Brought to you by link sharers like Scissorfight and others. Thanks, Scissorfight. Take care, everyone. Good night.
My feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. You're my Mr. Right, too good. Just turn my world around. Cause you're the peace I find. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. You're my Mr. Right, too good.